she goes completely nuts, and it, it's a sign of her not respecting him. She's also frustrated by the way he answers, probably the things he says. They're not to her liking, and we've seen her weaponize things that she's learned about him over the time that they've been talking. We've seen her
Yes.
throw him under the bus in front of the group. We've seen her curse him out. We've seen her throw the flowers last week, the petrified flowers. He was petrified after those flowers landed in front of him,
Here we
right?
go with those
So,
petrified flowers again.
yeah, she threw the petrified flowers, left Brandon petrified and shaken up in front of the group. So, yeah, this is this has been building for a while. I think he's given a lot of grace. He's never raised his voice, raised his temper. Even when he tries to get a word in edgeways, like she's always trying to combat him. And, that kills the romance. How are you going to have romantic feelings for, or, continue to love on and all those things when she's just completely bringing you animosity and she doesn't like you? And so, yeah, it was just a carryover from last week. And I was expecting them to be sent home, but they did have an intervention and some crucial things were discussed in front of Taronda.
Yes.
What were your thoughts?
I agree with everything you said thus far. I mean, I think that Sienna has one thing to have her opinion. I think it's one thing, to disagree with her guy, right? The guy that she's dating. I don't have a problem with that. But what I don't like about what Sienna does is she does not allow him to speak. Like she'll ask him a question, and then before he can even get, his whole sentence out or whatever he's going to say, his full thought, she jumps in and she interrupts him and she starts, like you said, demeaning him, putting him down if she doesn't like something. Like, what did you say to her? What did you say? What did you say? What did you say to her? Like, F you. I don't like, here's my thing personally. I don't like a person cursing me. Like, don't curse me, because to me that's like verbal violence, right? Don't curse me, don't F-bomb me, don't F me or F this or F your thoughts or F what you're about to say. When you start cursing at me, it's like you've already committed violence, and I'm disengaging. I'm gonna disengage. That's just me, but I don't think this girl, and hey there. Oh, you did get it linked up. Oh, right. Okay. Say her name for me again, JR. Your friend is on your page. Say her name again, please.
Ariadne.
Ariadne. Ari.
Yeah,
Can I just say
that's
Ari?
it.
Okay, Ari. Hey, Ari. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining on his channel. I'm sure you've already clicked the like. You're very constant. We appreciate you here. Let's see what she's saying in this next one. I just want to know why they're both still there if there's no more romance. What's your take on that? That's a very good question. What's your take on that, JR?
Well, like I said last week, I expected them to be sent home this week, but I think when they had that conversation with Taronda, that was an attempt, in my opinion, for the show to see if there's anything worth salvaging. And, even during that sit down, he wanted to express the way he felt. And again, she jumped all over him verbally and told him he's full of crap and all of that stuff. And she yet again had to get told by Taronda, look at the energy you're bringing. This is why you are in the situation you are with him. Like, you're going to ruin everything because the way you speak to him is just not good enough. It's just not for the outcome that you're expecting to happen from the show. So I think with him firmly stating now that the romance is over as far as he's concerned, you can't do it by yourself. Like, you have to go home now, in my opinion. Like, there's no way. And I'm surprised that she said, yes, it's worth fighting for, it's worth salvaging. It's not. Unless she's getting comfortable with the disrespect that she's dishing out, because she's not changing anything. she's still doing the same thing, even in the instance where they're in front of people,
Yeah,
which is just as
yeah,
bad as doing it behind closed doors, really. You shouldn't be doing it at all.
right. I mean,
So,
like, and things like throwing the petrified flowers at him,
yeah.
like that could have been,
Hmm.
as you pointed out last week, that could have hurt him. Like, had there been a glass vase involved, it could have, the shards of glass could have, cut him up. Anything could have popped up in his face. I mean, like, I don't. Here's I'm gonna go on. One thing I'm gonna say real quick too. The only thing I'm thinking about is that why Taronda and whoever else is in charge production is allowing them to stay is maybe only because Sienna did say that she thought there was something worth saving before they turned over and asked him, "Did you think there's something worth saving?" And Brandon says no. Not at all, not at this time. So
Right.
I'm thinking that
Right.
maybe, like, if you ever watch Married at First Sight UK edition, the UK
Uh-huh.
edition, if one person says yes, then that means they have to stay. They have to stay another week and give it a chance. If both say no, then they're gone, right? But if one person, him or
Right.
her, says yes, so maybe they're doing that type of situation. They're giving them an extra week to try to see if they can work things out. El Cid, I'm going to go
Right.
to Cid's comment here on the screen. She says that
Mhm.
Sienna is a New Yorker like myself. The city can make you hard, but you've got to self-regulate. And that was something I told her in the chat. I try not to bring up the fact that she's East Coast New Yorker. Many of the people I've met and have friends with, have talked with, that are New Yorkers, whether they were born here and went there later for, to be in the film industry, movies, modeling, whatever. I've noticed that in the time I've spent in New York, that many New Yorkers are very, they speak a certain way. They're very blunt. They don't have Midwest uh, culture. They don't have Southern culture here in the States. They don't have any of that. And then oftentimes they take this personality, that harshness, wherever they go. And most of us around the country are a little bit shocked by how they speak. This is some, not all. I'm just saying this is some,
Yeah.
not all. But for her, I found her particular, the way she speaks, I found that to be, it definitely is a part of her. It's not the city of New York. Is the fact that she is just very harsh and she doesn't care what she says.
Exactly. And that's the problem. Self-regulation. And, even if you are from
Good to
a
see
place
you.
like that,
Go ahead.
he's not. Yeah, he's not from there. So
No,
you're
no.
talking to him in an aggressive manner as far as he's concerned. That's what should be your focus, right? The delivery is one thing. But when she's cursing him out and telling him that he's full of crap and get the F away from my bed, get your foot off my bed, all this, like, just being malicious with it, and calling him the B word, you're a
Oh,
beach and all
that
these different
that
things.
oh my, like I just told you, I
That's
can't
not
tolerate the cursing, but that fact that she actually
exactly
not only cursed, but she called him directly. The name calling, that's a no-go. No-go with the name
mhm.
go name
Right.
calling. No go.
And this is the thing. Like, if that environment is how people speak to each other, then she's probably used to going back and forth with a guy in a hostile way, because the guys might be like that too, right? So if those are the guys that she dated previously, and she's used to having that type of dialogue with them, that back and forth, she's not with a guy like that now. So, and she's known that for the entire time that they've been speaking. So at the end of the day, I can't give her a pass on that, because she's old enough, sensible enough, and grown enough to know that she can't speak to her boss like that. She can't speak to her friends. Well, maybe she does speak to her. I don't know. But she can't speak to this man like that. The guy that she wants to be with ultimately and make something romantic happen. He's not going to be able to channel those romantic feelings if he's constantly being berated or put down or cussed out. It's not going to happen, because that will also be condoning her rough treatment of him. And then people will be saying, oh, well, why doesn't he get a backbone? Right? He got his backbone now. He said it in a way that wasn't disrespectful or condescending. He just politely said, look, as far as the relationship side of things, he doesn't see it.
Romantic.
Like it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the romantic side of things is it's done. And you know, like she might have been shocked by that because she did clearly look like she wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, I think
But
she was shocked. I think she gets, not to cut you off, but I think Sienna, and I told you guys this from the first time we saw her acting up. I feel like she operates a lot on pretty privilege. She's a very beautiful woman until she opens her
mhm,
mouth and she starts misbehaving, and then she becomes, in my eyes, very, very, very ugly. But yeah, I think she
right.
operates a lot on pretty privilege because let's face it, there are a lot of men in this world that, because when
Mhm.
they see a beautiful woman, the face, the shape, and all that, everything is a 10 star or two thumbs up. There are a lot of men that will overlook bad behavior just so they can get in her pants.
Of course. But he is a man that has said it's not worth it. Right. And the other guys have
He's wise.
basically, when they sat down with him, they said the same thing. You know, it's not worth it. They wouldn't tolerate it. It's not worth going through it like that. And he is not someone that wants to just get into her pants. I think he really wants a serious relationship. He has kids to think about,
Yes.
you
And
know, possibly introducing her to family and stuff.
the
So
kid part, let's hold on, let's hone in on it just for a second. The kids part is something that, can you
mhm,
imagine that if the things that had happened in the house, let's say they were at home in his house and they were now a couple and the kids were there, she's throwing
mhm,
flowers at their father, she's cursing him out, she's calling him out of his name in front of the children, that would not be
mhm.
good. That would not be good.
Not at all. Not at all. And I don't, you know, we haven't obviously got that far. And I'm glad that's because he's decided to nip it in the bud early and say, look, it's not going to happen. Remember, this is the first time they're seeing each other and spending time with each other physically. So all of the time that they've spent
Mm-hmm.
building that romantic connection up until this physical meeting has been relatively good. I can imagine that both of them have been looking forward to spending time with each other. And then
Yeah.
when you finally get there, then now you're berating him, cussing him out, throwing him under the bus and all the other stuff. Yo, like it's over. She killed it. She actually self-sabotaged her own relationship with her hostile aggression.
Yeah.
And there's nothing he could have done because he couldn't have matched her energy. He couldn't have cussed her out back. Like the best thing for him to do is to just say, look, like it's not going to work for me the way it's currently been going so far. It's completely killed that vibe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
I commend him for saying it, and I also commend Taronda for not trying to pressure him into changing his mind. So, you know, you've respected what he said, and now it's down to Sienna to reflect on how she's treated him during their interactions together, and
Mm-hmm.
decide whether she's going to change or do anything about it. But
Yeah.
it's too late with Brandon, so it may be the next guy that she needs to do better for.
My fellow content creator friend Rooted says that he thinks that Brandon should walk away. She's not ready for a relationship at this time. She's very toxic, and he finds that Brandon is a gentleman and Sienna is probably used to toxicity. I agree with all of that, Rooted. I definitely think she is used to toxicity. The fact was, remember, JR, when she said, other guys have told her that she flip flops, that she's inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
And that was part of
That's
the
what
whole
started the
thing
whole
where
process, right?
that started the B word coming out of her. But
Mm-hmm.
but the truth of the
Mm-hmm.
matter is, what we saw on this show is that she told Brandon that she was willing to move from New York City down to Florida to be with him, that she was willing to
Mm-hmm.
consider it. And then when they got there and they meet in person, now she's saying no, New York is the bomb diggity.com and all that. Well, yeah, if you like spending like $3,000 rent for a studio, sure it is. Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
knock yourself out. Where you could be buying a whole house in other parts of the country. You could be buying a house with a backyard and the whole 9 yards, an attached garage and all of that. But yeah, knock yourself out. If you're a
Listen,
New Yorker, do your thing, do you, okay? Because I can't tell
and
nobody where to live, but he was just trying to give her some ideas, and she got all bent out of shape about it. So,
exactly. And not
uh,
only that, but the cost of possibly bringing his children there as well,
oh
on
yeah,
flights to and from there to go back to their mother's house and things like that. It's going to be
oh,
expensive. So
it would be. You're
obviously
right about that.
she didn't like being called out on the fact that she had been she had changed her mind. And that B word came out instantly. Like that was the next word out of her mouth. Like, oh, you a beach. Like just flat out dissed him. But that whole chain of events just spiraled into more and more hostility towards him. So, it had me questioning as a viewer. I'm like, she clearly doesn't like this guy. And then the intimacy challenge, that was a fail purely because she decided on a position where they didn't have any real intimate engagement during the task. So, and he's also mad because he found that position boring. And he's clearly tried to say that that's what he meant. It was the position that they were placing. There was literally no way of them connecting intimate.
Okay, well,
and that ticked her off even more, right?
Before we move on, because we're gonna have to move on from them. But before we move on, let me go back up here. Ari says, what do you think about this real quick? And then we're gonna move on because we got a lot more topics to cover. She says she agrees. Now, if Brandon, what do you think? If Brandon had thrown those flowers and it had been reversed, they would have probably been off the show. Do you agree, disagree? JR?
I agree. They would have been off like Dominique was and Alexis, because that's domestic abuse, pretty much. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, we know that there's a double standard. It isn't taken as seriously when it's the other way around. I feel like she's been given a lot of grace despite everybody seeing her hostile behavior towards him. It's time for her to go. It's time for both of them to go and go their separate ways. Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. And my other co-host, hey there, Miss Iffy, happy Mother's Day. Thank you. I know you guys in the UK celebrate on a different day. When does the UK celebrate Mother's Day, JR? What month?
Oh, I wish I could tell you off the top of my head. I only know when it's coming up, because then.
If you're in the chat, drop it in the chat. Which month do you guys in the UK? So this is obviously May, and then next month, here in June in the US, we celebrate Father's Day. So we got 2 different months, but
Mother's Day is usually March the 10th. I think.
March. Okay. March the 10th. Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see what Miss Iffy's also saying. Sienna, she thinks she's on the show for fame. She has no interest. You know what? JR was trying to tell me that she doesn't like him. And I guess I have to kind of consider that, because I actually thought she did from the first day. Remember they went on the helicopter ride? I thought she liked him, but you're right. I don't know. She's probably, I think there's a few of them, like, we're going to get to it in a minute. Chris and Jody. Mm-hmm. I think Jody definitely doesn't like her partner like that, like not romantically.
Mm-hmm.
Donna D, what she say? I hope they made Sienna pick up those flowers. Exactly. And all the crumblings of the petrifiedness around them. Yes, Miss Iffy, she doubled down on you. She said March is Mother's Day. So you guys have already celebrated. We are behind.
Mm-hmm.
Hey there, LMV, my moderator extraordinaire. Can you drop JR's link and maybe some thumbs up situations and whatnot? Oh yeah, El Cid is on it too. She says March in UK. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Ruta, let's see what Ruta is saying. We're gonna thank you, LNV. Thank you for that. Happy Mother's Day. Also, when the position thing was happening, this is to what you were saying, JR. Ruta says also when the position thing was happening, she didn't give Brandon even to think about the position that they were going to do. She just plopped down on him like he was a couch.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think about that, JR? And then we're going to, the next thing after you say this, we're going to move on to the next ticker.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've been saying since it happened, right? She basically sat down and was looking away. No eye contact, no embrace, nothing intimate, like no hand holding, nothing. It was just her back to him. She was sitting on top of him. And it was literally like she was on the couch and he was like, all I need is the remote, And she took offense to that. But unfortunately, he's just laying on his back at that point with, there's no real connection building happening. So I get what he meant by that, and she obviously took offense to it, but she chose the position. And that was based on how she's feeling about him, in my opinion. Right?
Yeah.
Like if someone gave you a challenge and said, okay, pick an intimate position, if you're feeling a person, you're going to go for something that involves eye contact, some form of PDA, like a public display of affection or something. Like, you're not just going to plop yourself down and show your back. All you can see is the back of your head, pretty much. That's not going to be intimate or romantic or anything. So I just think she's not attracted to him. And when you think about the things that she threw up to the group about his bad points or trying to turn the group against him, his former marriage and his previous kids, and think like the kids he's got from a previous relationship.
Yes.
Those are things that she's clearly been holding on to, and as a way to kind of mark him down or for having those. She tried to.
It's a definite choice if she doesn't like a man having children, or doesn't want him to have any children, or doesn't want him to be divorced. It's clearly a choice because he's been honest and forthright and told her this up front. And he told her this a while ago. He didn't just tell her this the day they came into the house. He told her this when they were communicating virtually. So, like, that's a choice. Like, if you don't like a divorced man, then go find you one that's never been married with no kids. I mean, it's all a choice. It's all a choice.
Yeah, exactly. She knew full well his situation. They seem like they've both been open and transparent with each other. They built a connection over an amount of time. So this physical meeting was to see if they physically connect, because they've already connected through talking and spending time together online. But from the physical standpoint and the intimacy standpoint, she's not feeling him. And she could have gone about saying that she wasn't attracted to him in a different way, than to be hostile and cuss him out and things like that. There's no justification for it.
There absolutely isn't. In the next slide, we've got just a quick one, a little laugher. It doesn't really require any conversation. Basically, I'm just saying, observing that Shay discovers that Josh has a long ear hair, and she's making a big deal about it, and she's asking him all about it, and he's saying, well, nobody's ever really played with my ears before, so we move forward. Millie, in the next scene, we've got Millie revisiting her and Greg's kissing in the hot tub moment. And, she's kind of saying, hey, I want things to happen when I'm ready, not just to be on his timing. I need to be ready. I didn't feel like I was ready for the kiss. You have any thoughts about that, JR?
Yeah, I think she obviously wanted the kiss to come at a slower pace, like maybe, a couple days or couple weeks into the physical meeting or something. Or she maybe wanted more bells and whistles on it to make it seem like it was a major event.
Yeah, like a little more romance, maybe. Yeah.
Right. But the other thing is, I can see why Greg went in for the kiss, because they've been talking for a long time. If you get in the pool, imagine you get into the pool with someone that you like and you have a connection with. You're both in the pool by yourselves. There's no other couples there. It's nighttime.
I think that could be considered
that could be considered a romantic location. So maybe he felt like, okay, she's in my arms right now. We're alone. Let me go in for the kiss. Even though she gave him a few pecks, like you said, she wasn't feeling it. So now she's let him know. She told him that she didn't feel like it was the right time for it, and he received it well. He didn't flip out or anything, So I think he's quite happy to slow it down and move at her pace.
Okay. So in the next slide, thank you for that. In the next slide, we've got on the next ticker, I'm sorry, we've got Diamond. Oh, this is interesting. Diamond is chatting. She pulls Millie over to the side, and Jody to talk. I'm sorry, not Jody. She pulls Millie over to the side and Sandia to talk about the Jody and Chris situation. Is this the sisterhood or not? What do you think, Jr.? What do you
Yeah,
guys think out there in the chat too? Hmm.
I, I think it was an attempt to, um, get the sisters around her and tell her what they've observed, and see, and kind of light the fire under her to get her to do something about it. Um, Maybe show some backbone, as they would say, and stand up to him for what he's doing to her. And she received it. Um, but, as we see later on, it was a divisive thing to do because it divided the whole group pretty much.
Mm. Ah, okay. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna save that for later when we get to her and her partner in the situation. Uh-oh, what is LMV? Oh my God, LMV is acting out now. Okay, I'm gonna save that for later too, because that comes a little bit later. But I get you, Ellen. I hear you. I see you out here. Um, I don't know. I think that Diamond may have been uh she was kind of passionate about it, but here's the thing about it. What I felt, she was a little bit more passionate about protecting Sandia than Sandia was about protecting Sandia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
some Mhm.
Sandia's unhappy, right? She's very unhappy, and I think the ladies can see it, and they wanted
Right.
to do something to try and help the situation. Um,
Uh-oh, Miss Iffy says, yeah. That's what I was wondering. Does she need, and so here's the thing. So like I've learned this very early in life on the playground in elementary school during recess. I came over a guy, a kid younger than me was being picked on and bullied, and they were trying to jump on him. And I come over, me trying to be the hero of the day, and not even really thinking of myself as a hero, but doing what I thought was right, right. I'm trying to say, no, don't pick on him. He's got a disability, and why are you bullying him and teasing him and trying to hit him? And guess what? He turns around and socks me dead in my eye. I'll never forget that. So sometimes when we're trying to be helpful to people, though, some fights that are for another person are literally for that other person. They're either going to grow a spine, a backbone, they're either going to develop their own voice, or they're not. And this is something that'll reoccur until they learn to fix it or to choose differently. So I think for me, Diamond, I think she's doing a good thing. She's doing right. But I think, like, okay, here she's saying it. Baby Doll says it very well. I think Diamond's intentions are good. She seems to be a girl's girl and a protective person. Yeah, I think she is protective. But I think at the end of the day, until Sandia develops her voice, which she's trying to tell her guy what's really going on and how she feels disrespected, but he's not listening. So then what she's going to need to learn how to do is put actions with her words and what? Walk away. Like, I don't need this. I don't need this situation. If you can't believe me and you can't put me as a priority above this whatever flirtation you're having with this other woman, hey, you know, sometimes you just got to walk
mhm,
away. What's
mhm.
LMV saying here? Even okay, well, we're gonna get to that scene in a minute. So let me take that off the screen. But our next thing is mm, okay, so yeah, we're coming into it now. Okay, so yeah, Chris and Sandia begin to argue about how they're connecting, about how Chris is connecting with Jody, right?
Mhm.
You have any thoughts about how he's connecting with her and what Sandia is trying to tell him? She is trying to speak her mind, her and have a voice. What do you think in this scene?
Yeah, she's definitely letting him know how she feels, and uh, he's definitely not really interested or concerned. He thinks that she's just making a big deal out of nothing. Um, Now,
Yeah, he's
his
dismissive, almost like he's dismissive,
yeah,
right?
yeah, very. His connection with Jodie, I think, is he kind of like they both um they both have
Similar
a
values maybe.
similar, maybe a similar mindset and a similar attitude about things.
Mm. Okay, I like that. I'll go with that mindset. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like so when they were talking and it showed that clip where it was like he was saying, yeah, you know what, when I meet a girl, I want to smash on the first day and things like that, and Jodie was co-signing that. She was like, yeah, that's how she is as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and then previously when he said, yeah, look, we connect, we see each other and this, that, the other. They're saying that to each other. Meanwhile, their spouses are there watching this. This is happening right in front of their spouses,
Well,
both
not
Cynthia
spouses.
and
The person they're dating. So let's not go to spouses.
yeah.
But okay. Okay.
All right, sorry, they're partners. But yeah, so the person they're meant to be showing that attention to and having that connection with is actually standing there as a bystander, watching these two connect more than they are with their partners. So it's concerning, and Chris just doesn't seem to get it. And the reason why I don't think he gets it is because I don't think he's attracted to her, and not at all. I think the cultural similarity, both being from Haiti, is one thing that they have in common. But besides that, I think he's underwhelmed by the physical encounter, and I think he prefers to have somebody who at least thinks like him. And then also the fact that he spends a lot of time in the strip club and things like that. I think he may be looking for that type of lady, which is not what Cynthia is.
Oh, the twerker lady, the twerker Instagram model lady, maybe
That's
slash
That's it. The
stripper.
twerkers. Mm-hmm. The scrippers and the twerkers.
Because I keep saying Sandia, in my opinion, she is very naturally beautiful. She's gorgeous. Her skin, her facial features, her bone structure. She's petite. I think she's absolutely gorgeous. And Jodie is, in my opinion, Jodie is average. She's average looking. And then she's got a big mouth, which for me, as a woman, as a lady, is a turnoff. She's got this really huge, big mouth where she's always, she's kind of got, like, she gets in her masculine energy. And I don't see that as being appealing. I see that if we were watching Ready to Love, I think the guys would say she's giving homey energy. She's bringing that homey energy. Like when she agrees with Chris and says, well, yeah, I'm with you. Like, let's smash in the first month. I ain't finna waste my time. Let's smash. Let's get it out the way. Like, it's giving, yeah, this is probably the reason why you're single. And same thing for Chris. Like, if smashing is hot, if getting to the hot and heavy time is the only thing on your mind, you're not really mature enough or ready for a relationship. And you should be honest with the people you're dating, and because there's plenty of people out there that just want to smash, just want to have a good time and hot and heavy. That's that's your choice. But let people know that up front, because Sandia, clearly she's told us that she's a Christian. She's looking for a man with Christian values, and that doesn't seem to be Chris. That doesn't seem to be Chris at all.
No, it doesn't. And let's break it down even further. Jodie is a sex therapist or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Right. Or intimacy coach. Yeah, sexologist and something like that. And then he said to Chris in front of everybody in this clip that, yeah, smashing on the first night is cool. But then she's also said about her own partner, Aaron, that, she wants to take it slow and see if they can build their connection and things like that. So I don't know which, we mentioned flip-flopping before, but that sounds like some flip-flopping to me as well. It sounds like she don't even know what she wants.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a messy situation.
All I know is she don't want her man. That's all I know. She don't want her man, but no matter what he does, like her connection with Aaron is not convincing anyone. The people in the house, the viewers like us, and the only person that seems to be convinced by it is Aaron. you know.
Yes. This right here, what Baby Doll is saying in the comment in the chat. Yes, you said it. I'm trying not to use that word this season. I'm trying to pick my words and add more depth to the whole thing. But yes, I totally agree with you. Chris, I don't like him. He's emotionally unavailable and he gaslights. Exactly. All of that. All of that. All of that. And Miss Iffy, to your point, Jr. Miss Iffy is in agreement. You UK people all siding with one another. She says that Chris doesn't like Sandia and has no respect for her. I will agree with you on that. He definitely doesn't have any respect for her. Absolutely.
No, no. So again, this is a couple. This is a couple. I think this connection is over. Don't see anything romantic with them. Um, but he did, after their sit down at the end. He did try and give her some positive feedback. But at this point, it seems like um, he's going to do a lot more to prove that rather than just say it. And I don't think he can. I don't think he's interested in her or attracted to her to the level where she may be for him.
That part, Miss Iffy. Jody is definitely a pygmisha. Definitely a pygmisha. Like that's all I'm seeing. Like, Miss Pygmisha lady. Hey, sissy, what's going on? Welcome in. Welcome in. Yes, passing through. Happy Mother's Day to you too. If you are a mother or a mother-like figure to some young person, happy Mother's Day to you too. And thank you for saying that. We appreciate that. Thank you for dropping in the chat and liking the video. Let's see what Rooted is saying. Chris and Jody just need to Chris, Chris and Jody, they're not even a couple. Oh, you putting them together? They just need to smash. But there is something there. They're on the same page. Yes, I agree. But here's my thought. And Rue, did you tell me if you think differently or you feel the same or whatever? I think the two of them would get together and smash, and maybe a couple, 2-3 times, and that's all there would ever be. I think they would get together, and it would just be like it would be hot and heavy time, and it would be over with. Because first of all, how you get a person is usually how you lose them. So like if they're doing that on a sneak tip, the moment they become available to each other, uh, oftentimes these people that like to sneak around in the darkness, they don't find the same excitement with the person once they're free and available. That's what I've seen over and over again. Ellen,
I think,
Ellen, go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say, I think it falls down because I don't think she's still physically his type. Like, he's looking for some type of baddie type girl,
Oh, you mean
strip
wait.
club
You mean Jody? You
environment.
mean Jody is
Yeah,
not
even with
Chris's
Jody,
type
yeah,
physically?
yeah,
Okay,
no. I think it's just the
they're
fact that
just
they think
they
alike. They have a certain mindset in common. That's the attraction there. So again, I think that might be a buddy vibe, but it's definitely more of a connection than he has with Sandia, and Jody's connection with Aaron. They have none as far as anyone can see. But like she seems to connect with Chris and co-signs everything he does. Even when he called her into the room, the way he called her is like they're more familiar with each other than we're led to believe,
Oh
right?
yes, let me get that thumbnail up. Wait a minute, let me get that ticker up. That right there blows my mind. Like when he called her in, that was a level of intimacy that he was displaying with Jody. Like come here, girl. Like he might as well have said, "Come here, baby. Come here, baby. Come on, come here, sweet thing.
Yeah.
You sweet sexy thing. You." I was like, the nerve of this mofo. Oh, excuse my French. Excuse my French. I was so angry with him though. He really gets my goat because as someone says, I think it was Baby Dow, he's gaslighting her. So here's the thing what I've noticed about this show. Already thus far in 4 weeks, we've seen 3 different types of abuse. We've seen physical abuse, right? With Dominique and Alexis. We've seen verbal abuse with Sienna and Brandon. And what we see with this couple, I believe, is a very strong form of emotional abuse. He is emotionally abusing her by dismissing her feelings, by gaslighting her, by telling her it's rain when he's really peeing on her leg, which is basically what he's doing. And then Jody is doubling down, saying, "Girl, yeah." I could not stand when Jody came in the room and she was literally playing with with Sandia's braids and moving her braids like she was her big sister or her friend. I wanted to smash her in her face. And I don't even believe in violence, but I wanted to smash her in her face. That got me so riled up. What did you think?
Mm. Yeah. I wasn't pissed by it, but
The
but
raspberry.
yeah, like I said, we've kind of we all the forms of abuse that you mentioned, we've seen that in Sienna, and we've seen also with Dominique, who's gone home, right, and Alexis. But
Right.
I feel like I feel like Jodie, as outspoken as she is, because she is ready to flip when she doesn't agree with something as well, as we've seen in this episode as well, right? When she flips on Dan. But so the fact that she was down for Chris to call her like that, and she just came running along, and yeah, like they both basically just said, look, there's nothing going on. Like we haven't done anything physically, we're not connecting. Stop talking about us and this, that, the other. You guys are just being messy. And but I think people are concerned because the connection between them is stronger than their partners, and they can potentially see some shenanigans happening if the opportunity that presented itself. Like if Chris and Jodie were alone in the boom boom room, or if they were alone in the pool, like Greg and Millie were, like if they were alone together, like I think people would be concerned that something would go down between them.
Yeah. I just they're just a mess. I don't know what to make of them. They're just a mess. But I mean, could you imagine someone sitting there playing in your hair? Like if this was flipped around, okay, let's flip this around, and it was a woman gaslighting the guy. Could you imagine the guy coming over there and just kind of like rubbing your head and playing in your hair like, hey, what's up? Like what would that look like? That would be crazy.
That would look like Aaron and Jodie. Like if Aaron if Aaron was to start rubbing on her hair and doing all these things, people would be like, bro, like she doesn't even like you, bro. Like what are you doing? Like there's no connection there. So, people have said whatever they've said about Aaron, and maybe why he's not attracted to her. He may be attracted to other types of people. Um, so, if he was to do anything intimate or anything like that, people would be like, dude, you're not really feeling her. But I think she would still accept it because we haven't seen her shut him down, and we haven't seen him make that many advances. All we've seen is on their first date when he couldn't open the bottle and all these other different things. He went down in her estimation, but she still carried on, the date with him and this, that, the other. So I think the dislike between Chris and Zendaya is far more than between Jodie and Aaron. It hasn't reached the point where she's hostile to him or dissing him like that. But Chris is definitely he's definitely taking shots at Zendaya, knowing that she likes him more than he likes her as well, which is what makes it more painful to watch.
Hey, Kiki, welcome in, and happy Mother's Day. If you are a mother, an auntie, a big sister, if you're nurturing and loving on some young person, happy Mother's Day to you too. Okay, and thank you for that. Hey, thank you for coming in. Question: have you ever click more with the partner of a friend, but it's just platonic? That's how I see Chris and Jodie. Oh, okay. JR, you go first, and then I'm gonna try to think on that if I've ever had that feeling. But JR, have you ever like so? Okay, let's say you guys are out on double dates, or let's just say you have a group of friends, an inner circle, and all of you guys are in a relationship at the time. Have you ever found that you just click more with your buddy's girl? Has that ever happened to you? And if so, how did you deal with it?
No, it's never happened to me. In like when my friends are in relationships,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see their partners like that. I don't they don't
Yeah.
invite their partners everywhere with them. Usually,
Okay.
um, I would see them either at the gym or, if we're happen to be in the same place at the same time. But when we get into relationships, we're usually spending time with the person we're with.
Yeah.
So I haven't had that experience at all. I've never connected with a friend's partner more than I have with my own. That's
Okay,
never
well,
happened.
let me say it this way. Let me say it a little differently. Okay, so you gave it, and that's great. Okay, but let me say it this way. Let's say you're in a relationship, your friends, some of your friends, they're in relationships too, and you're gathering for a party. I get what you're saying, that if you're dating and you're serious about someone, you're probably trying to spend more time one on one with that person, right?
Mm-hmm,
If you're
mm-hmm.
being, at least if you're being intentional, I would think so. But people get together for whatever reason. Maybe it's a friend of yours' birthday, and everybody has come together as couples because they're coupled up, right? Have you
Mm-hmm.
ever felt like or seen like there's a woman that is physically, you're just like physically admiring her and you're attracted to her? She's not your girl, she's your friend's girl. Has that ever happened?
Nope.
JR says, Aubrey, you are not tripping me up today. Not no way, no how.
Nah, I've never lusted over a friend's girl. Never thought, wow, she's fine. I need to be with. Nah, none of that. No way. Mm-mm. Off
Yeah,
limit.
yeah, and that's what I was about to say. Like I had to think about that. I know there was a time back in my mid 20s when a friend of mine, we used to work together, we used to model together, and she was also a flight attendant at the time. It was before I became a flight attendant with the same airline, but she was traveling with another mutual friend of ours that's a model slash flight attendant at the time. And she meets this very handsome guy who's an attorney, and he wants to date her. And she's like already in a relationship. And she says no. She introduces him to our mutual friend. Our mutual friend meets this guy on a blind date, and within 3 or 4 months, they're married to each other. Right? They go to Cancun. They have this fabulous wedding, like a destination wedding, which was actually just them taking a trip with his brother and his brother's wife, but they end up married. And long story short, like when I first saw him, oh my God, he's definitely my type. Her husband, definitely my type. Very, very handsome. But you know what? Like, I don't know. I'm glad I had this thing inside of me. Like, you become like a brother to me. Like, if you're my girl's husband or boyfriend, you become like a brother to me. And I can't even look at him in that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
I would never look at him and just be like, "Oh, let me get up in his face and talk to him. He is so fine." I mean, and he really was. He was like everything, like the epitome of what most women are looking for, like the 6'6", over 6 feet tall, six-figure income. Later moved her to Atlanta. They bought this house built from the ground up off a golf course. And when she gave him their first child, he gave her a brand new Mercedes as a Mother's Day gift, okay, if you will. So, yeah, he was everything that most women say they're looking for in a guy, but I can't look at him in that way. So I've never had that issue where I'm dating somebody, or my girlfriend's dating somebody or married to somebody, and I'm over there comparing. Like, no, that to me, that tells me that there's something going on where you don't have boundaries. So no, I never had that happen. Um, Elsie, to your question, I get you. Even if it's just platonic, I find that like the Bible says, if you like don't even allow the appearance of impropriety to happen, that way you stay on the good side of right. You know what I'm saying? So like if you're all up in somebody's face, even if you think it's platonic, like, oh yeah, we're both lawyers, so I'm gonna get up in his face. No, that's not the thing to do. Stay away from that fine man's face, because next thing you know, you're gonna be trying to sneak into the hot tub with him, and that ain't gonna end well. As my
Exactly.
girlfriend.
That's what I see with Jody and Chris. That's exactly what I mean. The thing that they connected over in this episode was, the ability to basically smash um, on the first occasion, or the first opportunity. That's not something good that you want to hear two people who are on the show not connecting with their partners. That's not what you want to hear from them, right? So that's like the
You see
worst
what they're
thing.
saying in the chat about you? They saying a good looking guy like you, your friends are probably hiding their girlfriends from you.
No, they're just investing quality time. They're just investing quality time. That's all. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, but LC, that's where things start off. They start off platonic and then they move into other things. So like I said again, I don't know. Everybody is different. Do what you do what works for you. But again, I find that by having boundaries and not being all up in somebody else's man's face, if I know he's got a woman, especially if she's a friend of mine or an associate or a coworker, a cousin, a relative, like, no, I don't want to be all up in his face. No, I'm not doing that. And I'll tell you one thing. Here's another thing though too. What about when that person's man is trying to hit on you and you're trying to be you gotta shut that down. You gotta shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kiki. So moving forward, because we got a lot to cover, and I got a Mother's Day dinner to attend.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Okay, so next scene we see Millie and Greg doing their couples check-in with Taronda. What did you make of that?
Mm.
Millie and Greg.
Yeah.
They're
So yes, they discussed the kiss situation, and
yep,
yeah, like it was an open and frank conversation. I like this couple. I think
yeah.
she does have the ability to open up to him and be vulnerable, and he's very open with her and vulnerable. We've seen no clashing at all. So yeah, I think this can be worked out and salvaged, um, and continue on the path that they're going, which seems to be the best out of all the couples, in my opinion.
Yeah, they would you say the reason why they're the best couple right now, besides my couple also Diamond and Aaron, do you say that what is the reason why? Is it because of their communication, their maturity level? What is the reason?
Yeah, it's I think it's the communication. There's a level of attraction there between them. Um, they're able to talk things out without getting hostile and disrespectful to each other. We haven't seen any outside interference trying to pull them one way or the other. They've just been allowed to organically form a connection and see where it goes and build on what they've been doing. So yeah, it seems to be all good.
Mm. Oh, okay. Not looking to date. Okay. you know. Oh,
Mm.
LMV, she's a good one. She said she don't even care if we're not friends anymore. It's a no. It's a no, dog. Okay. So let's see. Moving forward, they had a good conversation with Taronda. What about when we get back into the house? All the men are discussing the Chris and Jody situation in the looks like in the men one of their bedrooms or their dormitory style situation. Um, and of course, Chris is hey. She's just a homie. The women are making. I love the way Chris is always deflecting. He's kind of like a Republican in my mind. He's like always adding to stuff. Like he never stays on task with the conversation. He wants to take you like a magician. He wants to take your mind into one area where it's not even at, and he's blaming it on all the women. All the women are against poor Jody, and they're all putting these ideas into his woman Sandia's head. And I'm like, no, dude, it's actually she's already told you how she feels. You're being very dismissive. What do you think in this scene with the men all discussing with Chris about he and Jody?
Mm. So the men seem to be seeing exactly what everybody else seems to see, and you've had the older Aaron, say to him, "Look, like we see it, and it doesn't look good. Right? The aesthetics aren't good, and what might potentially happen from it isn't good." So I think Chris is just doubling down because he feels like they're ganging up on him. He feels like the women are ganging up on Sandia, trying to influence her to say something to him and all this other stuff. And I don't think he's there for it, like at all. He doesn't see it like they're trying to be sisters in this time. I think he sees it as they're trying to, take her away from him. But again, if he doesn't like her, then he needs to just say so.
Did you notice how Aaron J, who's Jody's guy, supposedly allegedly, yeah, wink wink. Did you notice how Aaron J is all in for whatever Chris is saying? He's got his back. What'd you make of that?
Yeah, very weird because I mean, what he had, I can't say it's weird. What he said, in my opinion, was that it's okay to have platonic friends who you get on well with. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing happening, it's just platonic friends, right?
Right.
Um, and that I think Chris is trying to also say that, and also say, if you can't have platonic friends, then that's a you problem. You're insecure. There's something that's gone on with you and friendships that you've seen, but that doesn't mean it's happening here. Like him and Jody are just friends. That's it. But again, I keep going back to this. The connection that him and Jody have is literally over the way that they think. So that's
Mhm.
what quite dangerous.
But did you notice now going to the other Aaron now, going to Aaron H, who's with Diamond, right? Who likes the BBW women. Aaron H also said, he said, well, wait a minute, no, Chris, let's be realistic. We're all men here, right? And how many times in my youth have I done that where I've told a woman, yeah, we friends, I'm cool, I'm your homie, call me anytime, homie. He said, when actually in the back of my mind, I was thinking about smashing her. She looked good to me and I wanted to smash. I thought that to me was the most honest thing that any of the men told Chris. He told him what the real deal was because we all know as women, at least we as women, I'm looking at it like he just want to smash. He's being very disrespectful. He likes to play games. He likes to be emotionally abusive over here with Sandia. And then on the other side, he's flirting with what is her name? Jody. He's flirting with her. But he don't really, like, to your point, he don't really find her to be his type either, because she ain't no bad baddie. She just good enough to smash, and that's really all that it is.
Exactly. So that's what I mean. I don't think there's necessarily a physical connection. I just think he has more of a connection with her than he does with Cynthia. Like, aside from the fact that they're both from the same, culturally, the same place, I don't think he likes Cynthia other than that. She comes across as someone that wants to be like a housewife, loving, caring, doting on her man.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems like the type of guy that doesn't necessarily find that appealing. He finds more excitement in the strip club and with the more vivacious ladies. So
Maybe more sultry. Now, Elsie asked us
mm,
a very good question. Think about this. What if Chris is saying the truth and there's really nothing with Jody? Do you think that people fight hard to not be accused of impropriety? What do you think about what
of
what
course,
Elsie said?
yeah, of course. Listen, that's one way to get someone enraged, right? You basically convicted him. You basically said he's guilty,
Okay.
um, without him having any proof that he's actually done anything. So yeah,
Mm,
eventually that's gonna get tired. He's gonna feel like, why are you interrogating me all the time? I ain't done anything.
mm,
Um, Jody's even confirmed nothing has taken place. Like, so what more needs to happen? Why do we need to prove to you that we're innocent? It's because you've already assumed that we're guilty. So yeah,
mm.
anybody put in that position is going to be defensive after a while and fire back on whoever keeps on accusing him.
Okay, you make a good point, but I see some things slightly differently, because here's the problem with that. What I hear Sandia saying to him is, one, he makes her feel inferior.
Mm-hmm.
Two, you're giving this lady all this attention, and as Millie has pointed out, we came here to strengthen our bonds with each other, those of us that were in virtual relationships. So that would be Sandia and Chris, not Chris
Mm-hmm.
and Jody. So why are you giving all this traction to her? And then my other thing is, nobody's addressing the fact that he is literally, again, I say being emotionally abusive to this girl, his girl Sandia, because he's talking about, oh, we have the strongest connection, meaning he and Jody. He's saying this publicly. He's talking about it. He's calling Jody into the room. Jody, come here. Like she's his woman. Like, no, no, that's not how you handle that. He's
Mm.
overstepping boundaries of a platonic relationship, is what I'm saying. That's what I see now. I don't know. You guys can see it differently. Some people can say that Sandia is trying to control him. I don't see her trying to control him. And clearly, he is strong enough and he is vocal enough that, like he said, well, a year down the road, it would mean that I can't even speak to a perfect stranger because she's controlling me. No, she's not controlling you. And stop trying to flip it to the other side, because let's flip this around. If Sandia had the balls and was doing this to, let's say, Greg, for example, and Greg was stupid enough to fall for it and leave his beautiful woman and be co-flirting with her, do you think for a second that Chris would go for that?
Mm. No, I don't. But look, you don't even have to go to Greg. Listen, the same exact thing is happening with Jody and Aaron. The same thing that Chris and Sandia are going through. Jody and Aaron are going through the same thing, but it's just that Aaron's handling it a lot differently. He's not internalizing it and getting sad about it. He
Mm,
still thinks that there's some type of connection there.
he does. Even after we saw them with the yoga pose, he still thinks there's some kind of connection, and he didn't even know
I'm
it.
just going by what he said on the
Okay,
show. You know,
okay.
he said, listen, they're just pure. He can understand what purely platonic friendship looks like, and he's not bothered by it. Whereas Sandia is bothered by it. That's the only difference. But the same scenario is happening. Jody is affirming Chris, backing up Chris, runs from one room to another when Chris calls her. I guarantee you, if Aaron called Jody, said, "Hey, Jody, come here. I need to show you something," it ain't gonna be the same response as she giving to Chris. She's gonna be like, "No, why am I coming over there? You come here if you got something to tell me." Like she's not gonna do it. She don't like her connection, and Chris doesn't like his. It's simple as that. They connected more with each other, and unfortunately, that means both of them got to go home because the person you're there to be, you're not feeling after all the time you built up your time talking to. You cannot start dating each other. So it's time to go home.
Mm. Ari says, good point. She says, look at it this way. Dom thought that Alexis continuing to say Hoochie Daddy Shorts was flirting, even though that was his perception. Chris talking to Joanna or Jody the way he does could be perceived that way also. Absolutely, you're right. It is definitely whether we're looking at perception versus reality. But here's the thing: it's more than once, and regardless of whether he's irrespective of whether he's flirting or not. If I tell my man that I don't like it, that I find it uncomfortable, disrespectful, I find it way too uncomfortable. If he's my man and he wants the relationship with me and it's a priority, what's he going to do? Is he going to continue to do what he's been doing, which I find disrespectful and makes me uncomfortable? Or is he going to continue on his path? That's his choice. But then the next move is mine, and I'm going to be out of there if he continues to disrespect me, because that's my perception. Those are my feelings. And if my man cares about my feelings, then he's going to make some changes. He's going to make some changes, because guess what? He wouldn't want me doing the same thing to him with another man. He would not. We all have
Yeah,
feelings. You're right. Feelings are perceptions, but feelings are very powerful too.
yeah. But this is the other thing that he said. He doesn't care about all of her feelings. Like, not all of her feelings are valid to him. You know, if she's overthinking or insecure or pouring negativity into him, nah, he don't care about those feelings. Like, she got to get over that. And like you said, if she's not happy with his connection with Jody and how she feels inferior to Jody because of how their connection is, she does need to leave. She needs to get up and leave because he ain't changing. That's what he's basically said. He ain't doing nothing. He's going to continue
You're right. He's
to,
not. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
he's going to continue to see if there's a connection between him and Sandia. But at the same time, he's still going to be connecting with Jody on a more intellectual level, at least. And he sees nothing wrong with it. So she's that's the decision right there. Now it's time for her to go home. Like, he's made his choice. He's not going to be swayed over to how she's thinking. He said, if you don't like it, get to stepping. So now it's up to her to do it.
Yeah, you're
He
right.
even
Because
sat down in,
I would
in
definitely
front of
advise.
Taronda. Yeah, exactly. In front of Taronda. That's what he said. He said, listen, you know, not all your feelings are valid. No, you can't be trying to control me, and you're not going to do that. You're not going to emotionally manipulate me by putting on tears and all this other stuff. Neither. No, no,
Mm.
he's not listening to that.
He's not listening to that because he doesn't listen. And I told you this. We had this conversation privately. I honestly feel like I'm sorry, not Aaron. Chris does not like emotions in himself, so he doesn't like it or respect it in other people either. He's very shut down. Someone said it earlier. He's emotionally unavailable. I see that. I believe that. I agree with that. So he doesn't like emotions at all. He says he's been hurt. He doesn't trust women. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and why Valentine was skipping over to this, what said in the chat. Why Valentine says that Aaron J doesn't even like Jody. That's the difference. And that's the reason why he has no need to react. Aaron J, yeah, you're right. He doesn't like her.
It could be.
He doesn't even know how the parts even fit together with her. So no, he ain't interested in her. Mm-mm.
Could be. And that's why both of them need to
They
go
are
home
not
too then, right?
fooling me. They are not fooling me. I'm gonna say this over JR. Those two aren't fooling me. They just there for the check. They just there to be on TV. And go over to their Instagram page. You'll find out that Aaron J is a musician and he's SAG-AFTRA related, so he wants to be an actor. They aren't fooling me. They are not fooling me. We said it from day one that you know what we said.
Hmm.
Ellen V agrees that Aaron J, he don't care at all about Jody because he got his own Jody at home. Jody, Jody, Jody. Jody's a good
Hmm.
name because Jody is a good name because you know what? Jody is what do they call those names when they go for men or women? It's
Mm-mm.
flexible. It's like Terry. Terry could be male or female. It's
Hmm.
ambiguous.
Okay. Well, listen, the other thing that you have to realize as well is Chris, I think he did say that he's used to being in a strip club and all these other things. So, this is someone that's used to um, not really connecting with too deeply with the women that he associates with. Like he's literally just there, sees what they got going on, and I'll see you next week and give you a couple more dollars. That's as far as it goes, right?
Yeah, he's
But
been desensitized between the strip club industry
exactly,
and the porn industry. I feel like a
and
lot
the
of
real
a lot of men have been desensitized to what real relationships are and what real women's bodies look like up close, right? I think a
right,
lot of men have been, and women, to be fair.
of course, they're the women in the clubs. It's women in the clubs that they're going to see, and women on OnlyFans that they're looking at, and all these other things. They ain't just men; it's the women doing it too. They're desensitized as well. But again, that creates the mindset for the type of relationship that they're looking for. And that's why Cynthia and Chris, in my opinion, are compatible. She's not like the type of women that he's used to being around. And that might have been the allure at first when they were talking online. But I think after seeing each other physically, I don't think he's enamored by her like that.
Okay, because you're talking about because Sandia is not that Instagrammy model type. She's not the bad baddie with the face full of makeup and all
Nah,
glammed up and whatnot, and
she
with
don't
the
have none of that, and she
with the
also doesn't have the
BBL,
mindset.
the
Yeah, she don't even have the don't have the attitude that goes along with that mindset and lifestyle. She don't have it. So yeah, it's time to go.
One question that came up from this conversation, and I'm going to ask you this, but I'm going to give the people in the chat a chance to chime in too before we move on quickly. Should women, do you agree with what Jody was saying, that more women should date like men? They should get in there and hit it and quit it. What do you think? Is her approach
Um,
right? That very direct, very get to the physical portion of the dating early on. What do you think?
there are women that do that. There are women that do that now and have done that from the beginning of time, right? It's not a monolith where all women are holier than thou or wait 90 days. There's some girls that will do it straight away. But um, listen, I think it's different strokes for different folks,
Okay.
and he needs to match up with someone who does think like that. And unfortunately, that can't be Jodie because, like I said, it will cause too much chaos. They can't get together. Like they both have to
Why
just
not?
leave because no,
Why not?
because that will nah. That not in the house anyway. If they left the show and
Mm-hmm.
their respective partners, then they hooked up afterwards, then no one can really argue with that because it's sort of like a natural coming together. Like they're attracted to each other and they're going to build it. But I don't think he likes Jodie like that. I think it's purely the fact that they get on well and they see things the same way, and that's much more than he has with Sendia at the moment. Um,
Mm.
that's all. But
Okay.
I think he should go home. I think both couples' time is up. We've seen enough of them. Do you see? Like, I've got a question for you. Do you
Mhm.
see Chris um, suddenly changing and being into Sendia, or do you see Jodie all of a sudden being into Aaron? Do you see any of those couples changing from what we've seen so far in terms of attraction levels?
With Jody and her Aaron and with Chris and Sandia,
Yeah,
do I see
both couples. Yeah, both couples. Do you see
no.
it change?
No, no,
Exactly.
no, not toward each other. No, no, because I think
Right.
you're right. I think Aaron J clearly isn't into Jody. Jody clearly isn't into Aaron J. Sandia is attracted to, I believe, to Chris, but Chris, like you pointed out, it took me a while. I have to say, you had to kind of win me over, and the episodes had to show me something a little bit more. But yeah, I finally am convinced, and it's unfortunate because Chris talks a good game. Chris talks about in his meeting with the couples checkup. Remember now, Chris says she's all the things that he wants. She's so sweet. She's so
Mm-hmm.
kind. She's
Exactly.
giving him wifey vibes, but he ain't ready for a
Yeah.
wife. He's not mature enough. He's not focused enough. He's not intentional enough. And for him not to consider his girlfriend that's giving him all these wifey vibes feeling, for him not to consider her feelings over someone else's and over his own, he's not even selfless enough. Let's look at this. He's too selfish to be tied up with a wifey. He's too selfish in my opinion. So no, I don't see the attraction changing. You're right. I do not
Exactly.
see
So
it.
it's both, both, right?
Babs says here in the comments, hey Babs, welcome in, welcome in. Not sure if you're a mother or a mother-like figure in someone's life. If you are, happy Mother's Day. Babs says a man that would not take his girl's feelings into consideration in regards to prioritizing her over another woman is showing that he is trash. Babs, bravo, bravo. I'm 100% with you. I'm 100% with you. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
I
think
think that
about
goes
what
both
Babs
ways.
says?
I think that goes both ways, to be
Ooh,
honest.
what do you mean?
Well, like I said, you got the exact same situation going on with Jodie and Aaron, and like she's not taking into consideration anybody's feelings about how she's connecting with Chris. So obviously, the same thing that can be said about Chris in terms of the lack of attraction or not connecting with his own partner. The same thing can be said for Jodie. She's not necessarily prioritizing Aaron over Chris at any stage. His thoughts,
Mm,
his feelings, his anything. Chris is prioritized. Anytime, like I said, Chris was sitting down at the table. The way he called her, it was like they've known each other for years or they've done something before, right? Just like Jodie,
mm-hmm.
come in here, come and tell these people, you know.
Uh-huh.
So that felt like it was very comfortable for him to do, even though that's another man's girl.
Ari, how did I not know you were a content creator? Ari says, she says on her live yesterday the exact thing, but added that Chris won't change unless he wants to. I didn't know Ari was a content creator. How come we don't get her over here? We need to get Ari over here up on the stage. Baby Doll's agreeing with me about when I was saying, and what's the name for that? I forget. There's actually a name for when you have a name that's can be male or female, right? Ambiguous, but there's another name I think for it. She says, "Yes, my name is Terry, and my dad's name is Terry with the Y, and mine's is Terry with the I." Exactly. Jody is one of those names too. Jody with an I or Jody with a Y, right?
Mhm.
So let's see. Our next thing is here. Uh, hmm. We got through that already. Hold on. The couples in the oh, let's do this one real quick. Because what do we get from this? And we kind of talked about it a little bit, but what about Jody and Aaron J and their couples check in? What did you make of that, JR? And tell us in the chat. If you're in the chat or replay, drop it in the comment section. And thanks for you guys that are watching on Facebook. Unfortunately, it's not showing your comments over here on StreamYard yet. We're going to work on that. Hopefully StreamYard will work on that. But what do you think, JR? What do you think about Jody and Aaron J?
Well, we just
Raspberry.
yeah, like we just been talking about it. Like it's the same thing. It's like the mirror that, like the only difference is Aaron does not take it as seriously. What's like the connection between Jody and Chris? That's the difference. He's not taking it to heart. He's not taking it serious. He's not
Yeah.
feeling intimidated.
He
He's
don't
not feeling
care.
insecure. Exactly. He don't care. Doesn't care. He's trying to focus on what's going on between the both of them, which is nothing. But that's what he's focused on, trying to build. Right. He's not challenging Chris. He's never said anything about why are you talking to my girl so much, or I'm concerned that you and my girl seem to be connecting more than we are. He hasn't said anything as far as we've seen.
Ooh.
So he don't care.
Finally, LNV gave me my answer because it was driving me nuts. I was about to start pulling my hair out. LNV, yes, a unisex name. Thank you. That's what it is, a unisex name. No, he doesn't care. So we're gonna move on. We don't care either. We're gonna move on to the next clip. Okay, so in the next scene, we've got Millie's big sister Sophia arrives and is introduced to Greg, and swiftly kicks Millie out the room so she can talk to Greg and get into it while she gets into it. What did you make of their conversation, their connection, their rapport? What did you make of this scene?
Very good scene from again what seems to be the best couple. The sister, I felt like it was a good move. She wanted to just get to know Greg personally. If to see if he was a good match for her sister. And I think Greg also asked some very important questions to the sister as well. So it was a cordial conversation. And, there's no real problem there at all that I saw or any spanners in the works that potentially came up. But it also helped when Greg and Millie sat down afterwards and she broke down about, she talked about her traumas and the previous stuff she's experienced. So I think that was very huge that was a huge segue, or at least an icebreaker to get to what was bothering Millie at the
time. Okay. All right then. And then for the next scene, thank you for that. The next scene, I noticed that Sienna began to have a meltdown as she was talking to her sister one-on-one about the fact that she does say the R word, that she was graped. If you understand what I'm saying.
Right?
I'm sorry?
Millie. It was Millie, right? Not Sienna.
I got it wrong in the okay, hold on. Let me back up off of that one. Oh, wait a minute. How do I do this? I'm lost. But yes, Millie, you're right. I'll make the changes. But go ahead and talk about Millie having her meltdown and what your thoughts were, how that might affect her future with Greg, even though that's your favorite couple.
Well, she was open and honest about having, she was open and honest about what happened to her, but without harping on it to the point where it would impact the way he views her or he feels about her, right, in a negative way.
Right.
So she was able to communicate effectively. He was receptive, and He's got her back. Like, he's definitely feels like he's down for her, whatever may be troubling her. And I think this couple, because they communicate so well, and like I said, because there's also an attraction level there, and there is some intimate connection being built. Like, this couple is strides ahead of most of the other couples because of their transparency with each other in all aspects. So yeah, I have good hopes for them,
Yeah,
no doubt.
and I think it's something that they I suspect this is just my imaginations, my ruminations here, but I suspect that really too these two Millie and Greg have talked about this in she's come to the point where she trusts him enough with this information
Mm-hmm.
um to to uh to feel comfortable to even meet him in person. And perhaps when we asked the question at the beginning of this show, why did it take these people so long, especially these two, because they lived in the same city? That was
Mm-hmm.
probably a lot of what took them so long. She had to feel safe with him. And I'm glad.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell women, I always ask women, how do you know you're safe with him? And for her to get to a point where she felt some type of safety to meet him in person, I'm glad. I'm glad
Mm-hmm.
that I'm glad that she waited. I'm glad that she waited. I was looking, I'm getting a little confused because I'm looking at Ellen V's comment, which is to something we talked about because I'm a little behind in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Uh but we'll come back to those things. 2:19, I'm making note of the time. And the next thing up is so now we see Greg's mother. Greg's mother, very beautiful lady, arrives at the house to meet Millie. They're introduced. He talks to his mother. And Greg's mom, she seems very warm and welcoming. And we find out from Greg himself that this is only the second woman his mother has ever met as him being an adult male, and that
Mm-hmm.
he's very protective of his mom and even his sisters meeting anyone. So,
Yeah.
what did you make of this meeting with Greg's mom and Millie?
Yeah, another good interaction. I definitely see where Greg's coming from, because if I introduce someone to my family, my mom, my dad, people like that, I'm gonna be. That means I've prioritized you a lot, and I've actually um, set my sights on having a long-term relationship with you, right? I would never introduce a girl that I was just dating for the sake of it to my family, because it's not really going in a serious direction. So I definitely see why Greg would hold back from every girl that he knows meeting his mom. His mom is someone clearly that he cherishes and respects highly as well. And one of the important things she said was, when she was talking to him, she said that he wasn't particularly ready for a relationship, in her opinion, but he's turned it around now. And that could also play a role in why it's taking the 3 years for him and Millie to meet. Probably wasn't ready 3 years ago, but he's ready now. So mum came in and dropped some nuggets, and she enjoyed the meeting with Millie from what we saw. So yeah, timing was right. And mum's stamp of approval, as you might know already, Aubrey, having a son of your own. Once mum gives the lady a stamp of approval, then that usually goes a long way to helping the relationship continue as well.
Oh, was it 3 years or 3 months? Okay, 3 years. I
No,
don't know
three
why I'm
years.
thinking 3 years. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it mixed up because all these couples got various time lapses between the virtual, getting to know one another stage and when they finally meet on this show. Okay, so 3 years. Yeah, that was 3 years. You're right. And the other thing that we see for the next one is that Greg's mom tells him one on one that how he's grown into this good man, and then he even acknowledges and says, yeah, because even a year ago or even months ago, I was not this man. I was not this serious and this intentional about
Exactly.
finding my wife, my partner. I have
Mm-hmm.
changed. I have grown. So it's very interesting to see Greg's mom acknowledge this
Mhm.
And hopefully she's not like Savannah, in the movie Waiting to Exhale, where she says, Savannah's mom says, "He's a good man, Savannah. He's a good man," but she don't realize that he's married to another woman, so she don't really know what's really going on. But no, I get the
Mm.
sense that Greg's mom really has seen her son develop and grow in wisdom and faithfulness and loyalty and all the things that we as women would want from a good partner and a good man and a good husband. I get that sense, and that Greg is very he's genuinely has a confidence, not a cockiness, but an actual confidence, and that he's become more competent as a man and as a mature man. So I really like that about him. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think initially some people may have been turned off by Greg because of how confident he was, and they saw it as arrogance or having a high ego for some reason, right?
Right.
But yeah, like I said, he seems to be close to his mom. He's one of five, I think it was, and they have a closeness and a respect level where he values his mom's contribution into the things he does and all of those things. So it was a very touching and an uplifting moment for him, for her to give him those words of encouragement about what he's doing in this process. And yeah, like, but for a guy, I assume that's going to work wonders because now someone that he respects as highly as his mum has given him the seal of approval to go and proceed with Millie. And that's what he wants. That's ultimately what he wants to hear. So now it's down to how slow or fast Millie wants to take it in terms of building their relationship, because he's pretty much locked in now.
You quit crunching in my ear, would you please, sir?
Oh, sorry. This apple
Uh,
is so good. I'm sorry.
yeah, I bet it is. I feel like I'm having a bite of it. The way the juiciness, I can hear the liquid, the apple juice of it all. El Cid wants us to know, wants to ask the question: why do people wait so long to introduce people, their dating partners, to their parents? I feel like we waste so much time when our parents could give us good insights. What do you think about that in between your apple bites, sir? What do you think about that?
um, Apple's gone now.
Nah.
Um, but I feel like it's just the same. It's just the same with being intimate with someone, or having sexual relations or anything like that. There's a
Mhm.
time that you. Some people put a time on it, and some
Mhm.
people just wait till it naturally feels organic and they're ready to do that. Because I think there's also a level of vulnerability. Like when you're introducing someone to your family, for example,
Okay.
um, your family have known you your whole life,
Right.
and you will always have a different relationship with them than you will to any partners that come into your life. So I guess when you do finally bring someone in front of your parents, your family, whatever, um, it does help if you are quite certain that this is the person you want to be with. And then when the family give you feedback or are able to communicate with the person you're with, you can see how those interactions go. And that might set a good tone for future relations if you continue to build your relationship.
Mm.
But if you introduce your family straight away, you don't know enough about the person, whether they're going to stick around long term or not. So your parent might take an instant dislike to them, and it might be all said and done. Or you might defy your parents, which is what some people do. Some people's parents hate the person they're with, or the person that you're with hates the in-laws. Never
Mm.
get on with it. So I think you do have to take your time with it because it's a level of vulnerability, um, in a way. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, like it's not a joke. If anyone comes to meet my parents, me personally,
Yes.
I've been dating you for a long time. I've told them, you know, about you. They've seen me cooing over you, and
Ooh, not the
you know,
cooing over your
yeah,
baby. Cooing over your
quote,
baby.
yeah, like they. So obviously they want to put a person to what they've been hearing about. They want to put a name to the face and all those things. And
Yeah.
Mm.
Who's been taking all this time? Well, I had to say too, I thought that was a very excellent question, Elsie. Thank you for posing that. Why do people wait? But now, just a second ago, you got to remember now, let's be real. Just a second ago, we
Mhm.
were talking about the casualness of it all, and that,
Mhm.
sometimes you just want to smash. So hopefully, we're not bringing the smashers to the parents to meet. So
Mm.
I think
Mm.
that
Exactly.
I think there's different seasons. Let me say it this way. I think that when we get a little bit older and more mature, we begin to recognize that there's seasons to dating. There's seasons where we're dating
Mm.
for just someone to go to dinner, a movie with, for just light companionship, maybe friendship, and maybe some smashing, maybe not.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then there comes a season in your life where you're dating for your spouse or your lifelong partner. Maybe you don't get married. Maybe you don't
Right.
believe in marriage. I don't, whatever you call your partner, but your long term partner, that's a different season. So at that point, I guess maybe she's saying, why don't we bring these people a little bit sooner to our parents, our family members, our siblings? Um, and I think
Mm.
it's a lot of what JR said. I think there's a lot of validity to what JR says. And I kind of lean a little bit onto what he's saying. Also, like the same thing, if you're a single parent, why aren't you bringing, every Tom, Dick, and Harry to meet
Around
your
the kids. Yeah.
yeah, you just can't do that. You just got to kind of
Mhm.
vet these folks out. You gotta do those pulls on their let's see here. Hey there, friends with Super Channel. Hey, welcome in, welcome in. There's a lot of stuff you got to do, and maybe sometimes you are trying to get to the smashing part to see. Hey, even though I tried to tell you ladies earlier how to figure out if a guy is going to give you what you want and what you need, you can figure that out before you even get into bed with him. Honest to goodness, I really believe that. I think it's true.
Mm. But
Famous, you can
yeah, but
laugh. You can laugh all you want, famous. But I gave the girl some good tips. I didn't give them the full class, but I'm telling you, it's there's tried and true ways to find out if if that thing is given what it needs to be given. If the peen and eggs are peening and egging, I'm trying to tell you. But what were you
yeah,
gonna say they are?
I
Okay.
was gonna say, but yeah, but some ladies aren't interested in doing that. At least for the first 90 days, or the first 3 years, or whatever it takes. So, you know,
Okay.
they're not interested in discovering whether the peanut eggs work or anything like that. They're not interested in developing an intimate connection, as we saw with the intimate challenge. Like there's some people that ain't thinking like
Well, wait a
that.
minute, but El Cid,
Mm,
hold on. El Cid gives us another scenario. I didn't see this one coming, El Cid. Now, this I don't think you should
mm,
do, but you're right. It probably does happen. I've been watching a lot of Dateline lately, and that's how these stories, and we know the Risa Tisa situation. She didn't introduce that guy to her family or her friends. Why? Because she knew something inside her. In my honest opinion, and my belief, I really believe that Risa Tisa knew this guy was a whole fraud from the very beginning, and she just continued because, as she says, oftentimes I keep hearing her say, I felt like it was my time. I wanted to claim my time. I wanted to be a wife. I felt like this guy was talking about marriage, so I believed him, but she didn't do no checking, right? So El Cid is saying that sometimes people move folks in, they've been together for years, and then they find out that the parents don't give their approval, or now that they moved the guy into their home, like Risa Tisa moved the guy in within 2 weeks during the pandemic, and now you begin to see red flags. Well, hey, as I always say, knock yourself out. Knock yourself
yeah,
out.
but that's because you didn't take the time to spend with him. How are you going to move anyone in 2 weeks in this day and age? As a grown person,
Right.
you meet someone and they're moving in with you in 2 weeks. That's it. That in itself is a red flag, not just for the guy that wants to move in, but for you as well. Why are you allowing that to happen? Why are you? What is the rush? Like,
Right.
why are you not waiting
Right.
2 months,
Because it was during the
two
pandemic.
years? Yeah, it
Everything
doesn't matter.
down. Right. Yeah. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
in the pandemic, you're not supposed to be going to people you don't know's house and spreading the germ, because that's how they were worried that it was going to get contagious. So that again is a red flag. You don't know this person. How are they moving into your house during the
Well, right.
pandemic of all
Well,
time?
I
No.
guess if I'm looking at it from what Risa Tisa, just going with Risa Tisa, and let me say this too, Risa Tisa wasn't the only woman or man that moved somebody into their place during the pandemic. There were a lot
course
of
not.
people moving into a lot of folks' places, and I guess
Of course.
what Risa Tisa's reasoning was, and his reasoning was, well, we're getting ready to go into lockdown. We just started
Mhm.
dating. We've been on a couple days. We seem to really vibe. He told Risa Tisa on the first date. This is the thing. He told her, Legion. He said, "I'm looking for a wife." Risa Tisa, being a woman of a certain age and hadn't had any offers or hadn't been married yet, she's saying, "I want to be married. I'm 35 plus, whatever. I want to be married." So they figure, okay, well, we'll quarantine together. Everything is going into lockdown. Why should we be paying two rents when we can pay just one rent? And you've got this for her. She had a 3-bedroom townhouse and he was living in a studio or whatever it was, and it was certainly smaller than her place. So he says, I will pay on things over here, and we will pool our resources and we'll start to get ready to get engaged and all this stuff, yada yada. But like you said, that was too soon. That was crazy. It was craziness. But they weren't the only people that did that though.
No, they weren't. But like I said, the fact of the matter is that all sounds good if you've been together a while and there's a long-term plan to make it happen. If that's the level of conversation you're having after 2 weeks, that's concerning. You've sped up a whole process of getting to know each other. How can you know everything or most things about someone in 2 weeks? Whether you want to get married or not, what can you really learn from someone in 2 weeks? Not much. It's not enough time. You go through things in life and emotions and different feelings and thoughts and ups and downs. You ain't done much of that in 2 weeks. So how you know you want to share life with someone after 2 weeks? It don't make sense to me.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But as we move forward to the conclusion, toward the conclusion, we see Josh gives Shay a sexy foot rub. I don't guess we need to comment on that. Everybody knows on here, if you've been on here before, you know how I feel about feet and foot rubs and the toe sucking situation, right? So we'll move
Yuck.
forward. Uh
You know how
let
I feel too. Yuck.
Whatever. The right woman hasn't come into your life yet. That's all. With the right pedicure. That's all. That's all.
No, no, it's not. That's not that. That's not that.
Okay. All right. All
I've
right.
given foot rubs before, but I'm not chewing on no toes. I'm not doing none of that stuff. You're not going nowhere near my. Like, I don't like feet as it is, but like,
Okay. So
no,
we know
that's too much.
you're not on anybody's fans only page with the or is it only
No,
fans? I always get them turned around. Whatever it is, you're not the one paying all the cash apps to these ladies that got the sexy feet. So okay. All right.
absolutely not.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. We've got wrapping this up here. We've got Chris telling us that in the couples meeting that Sandia's feelings are not valid.
Mm-hmm.
Uh they're not valid. And let's go to this one because we kind of talked about that part already. But what do you feel like, or do you feel that it's valid that Chris is actually doing something that makes Sandia actually feel inferior? Is that valid, and what is it that he's doing?
Yeah, I think he's doing a lot of things. I think he's definitely connecting with Jodie more than it should be. Because, like I said, there's no connection between either of their partners. So that's wrong for a start. I also think that he doesn't, because he doesn't find her attractive or he doesn't like some things about her clearly. I just don't like when she shed a tear in front of him. He didn't, not one time, even look at her and put his arm around her or anything. Nothing at all. So I can see why she feels like she's inferior to other people in the house, maybe, or he doesn't care about her feelings. But he has honestly said that he doesn't care about her feelings, and he doesn't, all of her feelings that she goes through, don't project that into him. Like, he has clearly said that. So, like I said, it's unfortunate, but she's got to walk away because the tears aren't swaying him. They're not even pulling on his heartstrings just a little bit. He's
Mm.
gonna
Is
yeah,
that
he's not
normal?
interested.
mean, you're a guy. I'm not a guy. Do you think that's normal for a guy that cares about a lady? Do you think that's normal for her tears not to even move him at least in a little bit?
Nah, that's not normal. That's not normal. But like I said, I don't think I also don't think that you should be pouring all your negative emotions, you know, like anything, like especially if you're an overthinker or anything like that. Like you think about 100 million things, while someone like Chris is probably thinking of five. All right, and and if you're continually, oh, but what if you do this? What if you don't do that? And this and the other. Like, I think that's what he's saying. Like he can't be dealing with all of that. Like he doesn't want to. So yeah, in a way, she does feel invalidated, and I don't see it changing, to be honest. Wait,
The women are in the chat are talking about you, JR. They're talking about you painting toenails. They're talking about you going from toe sucking to toe chewing. It's wild out there. Don't even look. You don't want to see it.
No, it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. Painting nails, chewing toes, anything like that. Absolutely not. No.
One day when you settle down, one day you'll probably be
Nope.
doing all of that. You'll contact me and say, Aubrey, you know what? You were right. You were right. It turns out it's not so bad after.
No way.
No, exactly, baby doll. Chris is not safe at all. He doesn't protect Sandia emotionally at all. And like I said, he does actually the opposite of protecting her emotionally. I feel like he's actually abusive to her. The way he treats her, the way he talks to her, talks down to her. Like when he's saying things in the kitchen to everybody, in front of everybody, like some people you just naturally bond with. And he's not talking about, it's clear that he's not talking about Sandia. He's talking about Jody. If that
Yeah.
isn't abusive, I don't know what is. You're telling everybody, you're basically telling the whole world, you're telling these people in front of camera. So now it's basically the whole world, in my opinion. You're telling people that you've bonded with this woman because you two have the same freaky mindset. You both guys are
Mm-hmm.
in the gutter, your mind's in the gutter, and this is the way you think, but you don't respect me, and you got to tell everybody and you got to rave about it. And she's on for her side, she's sitting there co-signing it and cackling and kikiing with you. I'm with Millie. Like, you didn't come here to kiki with her. You came here to kiki with Sandia. And if you don't have a
Mm-hmm.
connection with Sandia, take your rusty dusty butt home. Go home.
Exactly. Exactly. He hasn't connected with Sandia emotionally. Otherwise, he would feel something for her, and the way she feels. They haven't been to the boom boom room. They haven't done
It's the
anything.
manipulator, though. I'll see it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, and
Yeah,
I'll address it in a second. Go ahead.
yeah. They haven't done anything. Like, all he
Oh
said is he
yeah, that's
liked
right.
her.
They haven't been to the boom boom room, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, like that. Basically, the thing that he said he's connected to her with is the fact that they share the Haitian culture,
Okay. Yes.
and then and she's nice and she's sweet. That's it.
Yes. That's it.
Nothing
And
else.
then
Like, that's what he
nothing else.
said. There's nothing else there. So emotional connection, intellectual connection, intimate connection, sexual connection, all the other possible connections you can have. He don't have none of that for her.
He doesn't have it. And
No.
and now can I address El Cid? El Cid is saying maybe Chris is seeing Sandia's tears as manipulations. Well, guess what, El Cid?
Yeah.
Again, that's a reason to disconnect completely. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't, it's like, see, like, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Don't be double-minded and don't be a fence sitter. If you see that, if Chris actually saw her as the manipulator, then why not cut things off? Get old girl Jody's number and holler at her when the whole show is over with, because we know she ain't doing nothing in the boom boom room with old boy Aaron J. We know that. We already know that, right? But if he sees Sandia as such a manipulator, no, it's not her that's the manipulator, in my opinion. It's Chris. He's the manipulator. And the reason why he's connected so quickly with Jody is because they're two peas in a pod. They're two peas in a pod. And can anybody say narc? Because both of them are connecting with me as possible narcissists. I'm gonna say it. We got a few more minutes left, so let me get through these banners. Same values. Okay, let's get to the scene because we got to cover this. Diamond is they're all in the kitchen, right? supposedly was it Jody and Aaron Jay have been preparing dinner
Mm-hmm.
for the whole group, for the whole house. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Diamond finally decides to go nuclear and starts to talk about, hey, you know what? I don't like the way, and what I guess what triggered it off. Apparently, Chris was talking, and Chris was trying to tell Sandia in front of everybody, you are letting people put things in your mind that aren't even happening. See, so he's the manipulator. Like he's telling her this in front of everybody. He's trying to make her seem like she's simple minded, like she's a child, like she's a follower. And you see her kind of really literally in front of everybody shutting down because she does seem to be a more shy, perhaps a more introverted person, okay, than he is. He's obviously a little more extroverted and loud, like Jody. And so we see Diamond come in, and she says, "Well, wait a minute, no." What we have been witnessing is Jody has been tugging on you. You guys have an unnatural attraction to one another, is disrespectful, and so forth and so on. And all of a sudden, everybody in the kitchen gets quiet. Nobody's got Diamond's back. What do you make of that, JR?
Everybody wanted to mind their own business. I don't think everybody wanted to be thrown under the bus like that. You know, if they've like the guys have been having conversations with him, the ladies have been having conversations with Sandia, and Diamond took offense to what Chris was saying, turned around and just tried to air out the whole business, and then thought that either the women that she's been speaking to would protect her, or the guys that have been saying the same thing to Chris about the situation would jump in and protect her in that moment, and nobody did. So it divided the whole house, and like I'm not sure if Diamond is entitled to necessarily have either the women or the men jump in and have her back. Like Shay seemed to co-sign what she was saying, but didn't want to come out with it. Wanted to mind her own business and focus on her own relationship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think Diamond kind of chose the wrong time and place and to air out other people's business like that when she's got a whole relationship of her own to deal with in the house
To
like
be
everybody else.
focused on. You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, nobody jumped in. And what? And why do you think? So you think the same thing about speaking about Diamond's Aaron now, her partner Aaron H. Why
Mm-hmm.
didn't Aaron H didn't even jump in either? You think he read the room and said, you know what, I'm staying out of this, or what do you think? What was the reason why he?
Yeah,
Because he's typically very expressive now. Let's say that he's very expressive.
he is, but what it seemed like is he's not going to jump in to a disagreement between the two ladies. It's between Diamond and Jody. Like when Diamond
Uh,
said what she said, it
we
was
don't want.
Jody that actually
Mm-hmm,
responded back in a hostile way. In fact, she lost her temper with it, and that's where the standoff was. It was between Jody and Diamond. Chris
mm,
wasn't even in it, even though she took offense to what Chris said.
mm-hmm.
Like it was between Jody and Diamond from that point. And yeah, Aaron said, listen, you look like you had it. I thought you had it. You're so outspoken, and this is a battle between two ladies over something. You're talking to Jody about her being involved in another couple. You got it. What I need to jump in for?
Yeah,
Men
I
don't
think.
battle with women type stuff.
Right, because otherwise they get that sassy terminology
Yeah,
thrown in. Yeah. And you're right.
exactly.
You're right. I thought like Diamond needed to be 10 toes down in it. She started it. She determined, because like you said, we talked about it earlier. Diamond was plotting and talking, well, I shouldn't say plotting, but she was talking privately with Millie and with Sandia. She pulled them off to the
Yep.
side, and she was asking Sandia because they could all see that Sandia was uncomfortable. She was
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable with what her guy was doing, with what Chris was doing. And so they asked her, and so Sandia did say, I'm going to talk to him one on one. Let me talk to him first. And she did talk to him. So I guess maybe, I don't know if she went back and reported back to Diamond and Millie that she had talked to him. But when they were all in the kitchen, Chris kind of set it off. I think El Cid says it best here in the chat. I love your comments, El Cid. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Where is it? I just saw it. Hold on. Something you said. Uh, where is it? Oh, I think I got it
Chris
up there
worked
right
the
now.
crowd.
It's up there right now. Yeah, Chris works the crowd. He knows how. Yes, he works the crowd, and he intimidates some people because he is so loud. He is loud, and
Yeah.
also Jody is loud, and people don't want it to go. If it's already raised up, kind of like when Sienna with Brandon, if it's already raised up to an argumentative, combative level, a lot of people, like myself included, if it's not related directly related to me and mine, I'm not going to jump in. I'm gonna let
Mm.
you work it out because the minute you come for me and my note, it's on and popping. But if you just bothering somebody else that I just met yesterday, have at it. Because I learned from that situation, like I told you guys in the play yard, when the guy I was trying to defend socked me in my eye, made me lose my left eye. I'm not going for it. Y'all work it out. Y'all want to be combative? Y'all do that over
Yeah.
there.
But
All
this
right.
is the thing. Diamond also played right into Chris's hands. If he is this manipulator that everyone's saying and everything, she played right into his hands because
Oh.
because what he did, he said to Cynthia, look, in fact, he said to the group, listen, people are feeding you information that isn't true, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when Diamond was explaining what she'd been saying to Cynthia, and she used the word raw, like Jody's tugging on your man type stuff. That's
Yeah.
what Jody got upset about because she's like tugging. Now I'm tugging on your man. They ain't done that. Like they ain't done anything, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's why Jody got involved in the situation. Diamond said something that
That
she's
triggered her.
speculating on, which
Okay.
isn't fact, right? So Jody, that's why Jody, Chris didn't even have to do any more manipulating after that because Jody high fived him, tagged herself in, and said, I'm going to clean house. Like, I'm just going to nip it in the bud now. Diamond, you're talking rubbish. I ain't been tugging on Chris. We just connect. That's it.
Mm. Yeah, you know what? But now, in hindsight, as I think about it, and you put it that way, I felt like Jody. I felt then and now that Jody's reaction was an overreaction, like how
Mm-hmm.
loud she got. But that's her though, because she just seems kind of ratchet, ghetto type hood chick, like loud, loud, loud,
Yeah,
loud. I
right.
don't like those type of people around me personally. That just
So, question. I have a question for you.
okay.
So, in Diamond's situation, right? She's
Hmm.
raised it. Jody's now raised up on her, like got all amped up about the situation. Would you then look over to your man to come and protect you from Jody in that moment?
No, because I'm this person.
Exactly.
I'm not. But listen, I'm gonna say why though, because everybody is different. I'm not a loud ratchet person. But let me say this: I grew up, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I can go there, and by the time somebody takes me there, or I feel like I need to go there, oh, I ain't gonna need nobody to back me up. Trust and believe. We gonna go and we gonna rumble together, and I'm 10 toes down. And if you got my back, good, and if you don't got my back, good, because I'm already passionate about it. You get what I'm saying? So no, I'm not gonna be
Okay.
diamond. I'm not gonna be worrying about do you have my back because it's going down. If I got to get loud like Diamond got loud and call somebody
Mm-hmm.
out, I'm passionate and I'm 100% believing what I'm saying and what I witnessed. Because remember now, we're seeing edited scenes. We're not seeing everything that is going on. And these people are in the house together, so they got a lot more information about these couples than we do. Like
Mm-hmm.
even when we saw Aaron J, was it Aaron J? No, it was I'm sorry, it was Josh that said, for example, about Sienna and Brandon, that they can't go 2 hours without cutting up, without falling out with each other. They're not on the same page. So they got a lot more information. So I'm gonna stand with Diamond on this one. But you're right, maybe the timing wasn't the best timing. And I will say this about Diamond. I think that she could have made it a more neutral statement, like, you guys, hey Chris, did you ever think that, maybe by you doing all this conversation, this conversing with Jody the way you do, and always calling her and saying about how you so well connected with her, did you ever stop to think about how your lady feels about that? How
Right.
how does she
Exactly.
deal? about that. I would have brought it to him that way at first and seen how he would have addressed it. I would have said, "How do you think your woman feels about that? You know, have you asked her? Have you checked in with her? Because I noticing that she kind of seems to shut down." I would have said it that way, and then we could have went from there. Now, whatever he would have said back, or if he would have said, "Well, you need to stay out of our business," I would have backed off. But I would have said it to him that way. I didn't like the way she did, like you said, she did kind of trigger Jody with the whole tugging on her. But she what I don't think she was wrong though. I don't think her observation was wrong, but how she handled it wasn't the greatest. And let me get over here to the chat because I'm yakking and you guys got plenty to say about this. Let me see what you guys are saying. Hold on. And we got a couple more and we're gonna get on out of here. Um El Cid is saying that Chris transferred the energy to Diamond. What energy? Like the manipulation energy? What energy specifically are you speaking to? Or him being loud? He transferred that loud, exuberant energy. And yeah, Sissy is agreeing. She's saying, yeah, for real, for real, for real. Yeah, yeah, El Cid, exactly. If I get to the point where I'm amped up like that, I got my own back. Trust me, the whole room will be demolished if it comes to that. Like, no, I'm not taking no prisoners. We ain't playing no games. If I got to get amped up like that, like Jody, Diamond, and Chris get amped up, oh, it's game on now. LNV
Where it
says,
could be worse. It could be worse. You could get amped up like Sienna. Then it'll be all over, right?
Uh, I'm saying that like I'm bringing that kind of heat. Like New York think they got some heat. Detroit got their own style of heat. I got my
Yeah,
own.
there's no need.
Like I'm not doing it like to my man like that though. That's the difference. Like Sienna is taking it to her man like that all the time, just by him disagreeing with her or him calling her out on some lies that she's telling. Like one, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
She's wrong. But if I
yeah,
gotta bring
and
it to a group or to one person or whatever like that, if I gotta go, if I'm that amped up and I feel like this is really, I believe in what I'm saying, I'm gonna stand in it 10 toes down. I don't need no backup. I don't need no
right,
backup.
right, and that's you, right? But Diamond immediately after the altercation turned to Aaron and started asking him, "Yo, you left me out there to high and dry. You didn't have my back. You didn't want to jump in. Like, where were you? You left me. It's not Aaron's fault. Like, he didn't tell her to pipe up and say what she said. She felt the need to do that. And when she was met with resistance from Jody, that's between them two to sort out. So she shouldn't have come to Aaron afterwards and said, "Oh, where were you?" No, he was spectating like everybody else. You didn't consult him before you went and said what you said.
Sissy know what time it is. She said, "Yeah, take them earrings off, take them dangling hoops off, and put that slide that Vaseline over the face." Yeah, we about to tumble. We about to go at it. I ain't had no fight since I was a kid either. But if we got to go
Whose
at it, I'm
dangling earrings are you talking
speaking
about?
more
Aaron's
verbally.
dangling earrings or
Oh,
who?
I'm dead. I'm dead. You said you were coming on camera too, so hurry up with it because we ain't got but a few more minutes to be
Coming
before.
on camera?
Yeah, you said you were, so people could wish you were happy. But get your butt. I seen you before we came in here. Put that camera on. Let the ladies lust out. I mean, let the ladies see you. Maybe somebody
No.
maybe somebody in the chat wants to wish you a happy birthday.
Listen,
Vaseline
I
and
don't get
I'm speaking more verbally, Sissy. Listen, I'm talking to Sissy right now. You get it together and turn the camera on. Vaseline, Sissy. Yeah, I'm speaking more like from a verbal because I got some real. You probably may not be able to tell it from my podcast, but don't let me get angry about some stuff. I'm not tripping over my words. It's gonna be on and popping. I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you. I got a tongue that will cut you worse than a knife. Woo!
what?
Don't let me
Is
get
that how
started.
you really are?
No, I think
What?
it's again. I think we all have different sides of our personality. It's not who I
Oh
really
no.
am. It's if you take me there and I want to go there with you, and I don't give a damn about our relationship or whatever at that point or your feelings, and I gotta cut you up to make you understand what it is. Then we gotta go there. That's it. What
Oh
can I?
no, man.
What
Wait
can
a
I?
minute. Is it Aubrey or Sienna I'm talking to?
Well,
No, man. That's terrible.
anyway, well, don't say nothing till you open that camera up. Don't say nothing. It looked like only Diamond
Listen,
had an issue with Jody and Chris. Well, no, because remember now, Millie, Millie has an issue with how Chris has been treating Sandia.
but
Now,
she didn't
whether
say anything.
no, she didn't. But I'm just reminding the audience. I'm waiting for you to get that camera together while I go through these. 'Cause we're gonna be here for just a few more minutes. The ladies are laughing. They saying you're not going to do it. You are wrong. You tricked us at the beginning. You told us one thing. You like Sienna now. You tell us one thing and then you
What?
do something
Oh
totally
no,
different.
no, 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 no. How you gonna
Yeah,
say that?
yeah. You
Oh
told
my
us at
god.
the beginning, at the open. Guys, did he not tell us, those of you who have been here for the whole 2 hours? Did he not tell?
They
He
don't know.
told
They've been here the whole time.
they have. A lot of them have. A lot of
No.
them have. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Put a thumbs up in the in the chat if you've been here from the beginning of this podcast. Put a thumbs up. Put a thumbs up in the chat. Yeah, they
See,
have.
no thumbs up. See,
No, they're coming. It takes them a
I
second. Give them
can't see
a
them.
second. Give them a second.
It's all right.
You are wrong. You are so wrong. Well, I lost my spot on the in the chat. Wait a minute. Hold up. You are so wrong. What's going on here? Oh yeah, just to bring him down a peg or two. Okay, I saw that. I did that one already. Right, exactly. El said, I got my own back. That's what I was explaining to him. He don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
He don't understand about US verboseness. He don't understand about US hood ratchetness. He don't understand nothing about that. He
No, of
UK.
course not.
He don't
It's from the
understand.
UK. I don't understand how that works.
He has no clue about the ratchetness that goes on over here.
Nah, I just know that I don't want it. I don't want to be around that. I don't want that. Wake up to that.
You don't want
Mm-mm.
to be talked to in that way. No, I would never see. That's
No
the
way.
difference. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely not.
Now understand me, JR. I never, ever talk to my man like that. That's not an option. That's not an option.
Well,
That
some
is
do. Clearly, we're seeing Sienna. We're seeing, it happens. There are some people that think
it
it's cool to do that.
happens. I'm just saying for myself, because you were saying, am I a different person? And I'm saying no.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, I respect my man. If I have a man in my life, I respect him. The only way he could be my man is if I respect him. I can't be with no man I don't respect. I don't respect your integrity, your lack of integrity. I don't respect you're not honest. Like for example with Sandia and Chris. He couldn't be my man. Chris needs to Sandia needs to drop him because he's not respectable. He's not respectable, in my opinion. Right. Okay, this is where, oh God, I am so lost in these comments here. Okay, wait a minute here. Okay, now I'm finally getting a little bit back on track. It's between Diamond and Jody, so nobody needs to jump in. Erin didn't need to have her back in that moment. Yes,
Exactly.
I agree. And she says, I didn't appreciate how Chris talked about. Yeah, see, that's the part where he's disrespectful. That's one of the things that he does. He talks about her like she's not there. He says things like, what is the word? I had to think of it. Signifying. Chris does what in Black culture is called signifying. When you say something about a person, but you're not saying it directly, you're implying it. Like he did say, basically, the reason why Diamond got so hot is because basically he called indirectly, Chris called Sandia simple-minded and like a child when he was saying that everybody can just tell her anything and she'll believe it. And he did call her simple-minded. He was signifying exactly. Yes, Chris is very damaged. He's not good right now. And everybody's laughing at me just going off ranting on here. But hey, every now and then you gotta let out a good rant. Yes, reformed hood chick. Yes. Right. Hey, Babs is okay. Here's Babs. Babs is saying, yeah, Chicago, Detroit, New York. Better be careful with us. That's right.
Oh,
Babs.
yes. Listen, I believe that 100%. I believe that 100%.
If we survive to adulthood in those three cities in the United States of America, you best believe we got some tricks up our sleeve. Now, we may be cultured. We done went to college. We done got out here professional, whatever. You best believe we got some tricks up our sleeves. Oh, if you're gonna bring us to that, you're gonna mess around and find out.
Well, hopefully you got some Dominiques in your phone book, and then you can align with them and they. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Nah, I don't need Dominique. Who what Dominique doing? Dominique, listen to this.
He's from New York. He's from New York. He got that New York swagger, that abrasive upfront.
From Chicago. And
is he? He's from Chicago. Oh yes. Yes, you're right.
Chicago, New York.
Sorry, you're right. You're right. Dominique's from Chicago. Sienna's from New York. I get it. I see the correlation.
You see the correlation. But wait a minute. But here's the thing, though. Dominique is a
Mm-hmm.
punk, allegedly. Dominique only go after women. He's 6'4" and he only go after women. He's a punk, allegedly,
Mm-hmm.
in my
Right.
opinion. Okay,
Where do
because
where
like
do you
if
say
you
he's
can only
from?
go after a little woman that's way smaller than you, like what I need him for?
Where was Alexis from? New York, right?
Alexis is what? Guys, answer in the chat if you're in the chat. Where was Alexis from? I forgot where she was from. I think she might have been. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. So again, that's like putting that's like putting lighting a match on some oil or something. You know, that's gasoline. That's explosiveness waiting to happen. From what you're saying, I mean, I haven't been to Chicago. I haven't been to Detroit. I've been to New York as a kid, but listen, I'm saying if that's how people's mindset and the way you speak to each other is and all that stuff, then because you get each other, you understand each other, you need to date each other. Spare the rest of us. Like we that's new to us. We don't have to beef with our partners like that.
No, but it's not like, this is the thing. I think that in the UK, you guys, like, here's the thing. People tried to say that the UK was so non-racist, so non-prejudiced. There's so many mixed race people in the UK until we got a mixed race person that came in and married Prince Harry, and then we really saw what it really was. So I think the point of it is every man and every woman, we're all created. We all have independent free will, right?
Right.
And there can be a devil in you and there can be a God in you. And each one of
Okay.
us make the choice to self-regulate and to be what it is
Yeah.
that we need to be. But let me tell you something. If I'm walking down a dark street, if I had to get down a dark street or an alley or something to get to my car to be safe to get home, I promise you is not gonna necessarily be the God in me that I'm strutting around as. Okay. I'm gonna have that walk. The thing that I learned very early in life, growing up in a major city like a Detroit or a Chicago or New York, and I think this probably applies to just about anybody that grew up in those cities and on a rough side of town or in the hood or where maybe there was a high crime rate, you learn how to compose and how to carry yourself, that you're not a punk, whether you be a man or a woman, because you have to. You have to in order to survive. And that's just what it is. That's what it is. That
Right.
doesn't make you a bad person because none of us
No,
none of us picked where we were born at.
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that mentality that you've developed through having to survive. Do you not realize that when you go and form relationships with people who are not from that world, we don't understand that. So, you're gonna have to taper that. And that may be it may be a drastic change. You shouldn't change for the person you're with, though. That's not what I'm saying. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying that if
Okay.
you know that you have that exterior, if you have had to protect yourself and watch your back all the time and all the rest of it, it manifests into behaviors when you turn into an adult and when you try to form loving, lasting relationships. You carry it with you,
Oh, okay. I
right?
see what you're saying.
So
I see
until
what you're
you
saying.
address that, then
Okay.
you're bringing someone else into this world that you've grown up in, but the other person is completely foreign to. Right?
Right. I see
Like,
what you're
yes,
saying.
we have, like, so yeah, for example, we have hoods over here, right? Now, our hoods over here, compared to your hoods over there, two completely different things.
Right.
Our
Right.
hoods, like, first of all, your country is like 60 times bigger than mine, right? So our
Wow.
hoods are tiny compared to yours, right? And
Okay.
then,
Got thumbs up on the screen just so in case you're missing it while you're talking. Got the thumbs up and the birthday wishes. So you said you were gonna come with it, but okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, right. So, like, and then the other thing is because we're such a tiny island, the people who control the country, it's a lot easier for them to put people in jail or sanction people or fine people or create laws. And we don't have the same system that allows for you guys to not get away with, but for your hoods to get to the level that they have, we don't have the same ability. But this country will not let that happen. Like, a lot of people will be taken off the street and incarcerated before it really gets to the levels that you guys are used to seeing over there.
Well,
I'm not saying it's not bad. We have pockets, but I'm saying we are on a very smaller scale compared to you guys.
Right, and I think here's the other thing. Would you not say I don't know all the rules and all, because I'm getting deeper now into my BBC and my UK programming, which I absolutely love. But would you not say though too, the biggest part of it, just speaking on the violence, and then we're going to jump back and finish up this thing because I really got to get going. But the biggest difference in the UK and the United States, for example, with the crime rate and with crime period, is that you guys don't have the access to lethal weapons that we do, correct?
Of course not. Yeah, that's true as well.
So that's a big thing. So I'm going to be safer. I'm going to feel safer if I knew I could walk down the streets of Detroit and nobody. It's very rare that somebody would have a lethal weapon. Do you know how much safer I would feel on the inside? Do you know how much safer I would feel? Like, hey, let me take a stroll at midnight. Oh, hey, nobody's got a lethal weapon. Nobody's got an automatic weapon over here to kill 20 people in a crowd, right? But we're going a little far away. People have got their birthday things, and you had said there's the birthday things. Let me get back to that. You just
wait. I don't see any super chats. I don't see any cash apps. I don't see anything showing people's desire to unmute the camera.
I turn those off, but the cash app is available. Now that's a good point. Let me go over here to my cash app and see what's going on. You're right. Nobody has cash app being
I'm gonna come up for the last few seconds. Here we go.
Well, got the fresh haircut.
Always got a fresh haircut.
All right, now look at JR. There you go, ladies. Oh, see now. Let me get them up on the screen. Happy birthday. Ellen V had her thumbs up when I'd asked for the thumbs up. See, they were coming in.
Yeah, I've got sun glare behind me. So hot.
Right. We got a couple more. We just got a couple more. We're gonna wrap this up because I gotta get to the dinner.
Okay.
Let's see. We had some of these I'm gonna have to skip over. Oh, okay. So what did you think? This is important. What did you think about Shay and Josh, Diamond and Aaron H? They decided to head over after all this altercation was happening in the kitchen and over the food. Lord have mercy. They decided to head over to the boom room and not eat with the rest of the house. What did you think about that? How did you feel about that?
I felt like it's clearly divided the house. See, I've got too much sun glare. That's why I can't come up.
You see how he acting? Like you couldn't find the spot. When I saw you before everybody came in, you were perfectly fine. You know I
can't. Look, I've just drawn my blinds as well. Look, it's dark now. Like it's so hot here.
That's fine right there. Okay, so now get back to the question. Shay and Josh and Diamond and Aaron headed over to the room. Did you feel like that was a good reaction? Did you feel like that was right or fair?
No, it wasn't, because now the house is divided. Now they picked a side on all of that. Again, if the couple's focused on their own relationships, then I don't think there would be so much division. But the fact that everyone's getting involved in everybody else's situation now is kind of messing with the flow of the show. And so gonna open up the Velux. I don't think it was a good move. Now going forward, some people are not going to want to talk to some of the other people in the house. So, I'm not sure that was a good move.
You think it may close down conversations because now people are more cautious?
Yep.
I haven't thought of it that way, but that could be a fallout. And in fact, do you think that we're gonna now in the next episode possibly see Taronda address what happened in the kitchen between everybody and how that became very felt very volatile?
Yeah, she may address it in some capacity, but I'd rather her address Sienna and Brandon first, though. Make sure they're going home. Make sure they packed their suitcases and they're out of there. That's what I'd like to see addressed first. then yeah, like definitely step in and have some words. I mean, the thing is, Chris and Sendia had their sit down with her on this same episode. So I'm not sure if they're gonna go home yet. But in my opinion, there's no connection between Sendia and Chris to even salvage, and there isn't a connection between Jody and Aaron to salvage either.
Mm.
So I'm not sure if there's going to be an intervention. And even if there is, what's it really going to do? Is it, like I said to you, that's why I asked you before, do we really think that Chris is somehow going to turn it around and be all up into Sendia? Or do we see Jody and Aaron flipping the switch and turning it around? Like, I don't see either of them happening. So I'm not even sure what an intervention would do other than point out the obvious. Time to pack.
Oh, wait a minute. Who was from Brooklyn? Was that well, Sienna is from Brooklyn.
Alexis.
Alexis is from Brooklyn also? Yeah, that would explain a lot. Yeah.
Too
Alexis,
rough around the edges.
yeah, I didn't really get Alexis either. I mean, like, she's got a little bravado, but then the other thing about her is she seems very insecure in her body also. I felt sad for Alexis, actually. And the ladies are asking, are you a Gemini? And I think a lot of them came back and said no. It's that Taurus vibe. uh, Thank you, Kiki. I love you too, and thanks for being the moderator. I appreciate you. I love you very much. With the other two lovely ladies, Ellen V and Monique King, always wonderful to see you guys on Sunday. Babs, what's Babs saying? uh, Babs is saying, pick a spot, Jr. You're making us dizzy.
Listen, like I said, it's a very hot. Listen, it's the hottest day of the year so far, and the sun is out. It's blaring all over the house. Like everywhere I go, there's sun glare. So I can't.
What does that mean in Fahrenheit, though? Can you translate that to Fahrenheit for those of us over here in the States? What would that mean? 80 degrees?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to switch the camera off. Hold on.
Okay.
I can tell you what that is.
Oh my goodness, you're hilarious.
That's what I'm saying. Like, see, I get on camera, then people tell me about it makes me dizzy, and then when I'm off camera, I'm like being told that I promised people I'll jump on. Can't win. All right, so in Fahrenheit, let's see. So where are we today? We're up there in the 23s, I think. Yeah, we're like 23 degrees. So in Fahrenheit, that is dun, dun, dun.
And for next week, while you're getting that together, I'm gonna just say, tell the people. So, like for next week, we see in the scene for next week, Babs is LOLing. Yeah, so true, Miss Wilson. He was making us a little dizzy there, wasn't he? Happy birthday, JR. Oh, the people are giving much love. Yeah, good point. It is the motherland of commercial, or the R word. You get
in terms of Fahrenheit, it's 72. It's 72 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, and that's hot for you guys? Okay, it is the UK though, right?
Exactly.
All right. Okay. Come back on. We still need to see you. Okay,
what?
and banner, the last one. So next week, it looks like on the Never Ever Miss, it looks like we're going to get a lot of action, a lot more action. We are going to see, guys, are you guys familiar with Dr. Romani? If you've been on YouTube, Dr. Romani, if you ever dealt with a narcissist, Dr. Romani is one of the top psychologists in over here and on YouTube. She talks a lot about narcissistic relationships, narcissistic people, narcissistic traits, how to handle them, how to survive, how to recover from the emotional abuse that you will deal with when you are dealing with a narcissist, guys. So she's coming on the show, and it's interesting because she's going to be talking to Sandia and Chris, who behind the scenes, JR, I've been saying that there are at least three people that I spot. I can't diagnose them, but there are three people that I suspect they have very strong narcissistic traits, and I'm wondering if they may not have the NPD, that's narcissistic personality disorder. So,
Who
what do
are
you
they?
think about that? What do you think about the counseling that we're going to see next week? Looks like Sandia and Chris. It sounds like she's talking to one of them about being hurt and losing trust in a relationship too, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, like I don't really go down the avenue of diagnosing people myself, so I stay out there. But if they're gonna go see someone and that
Mhm.
person comes up with a determination and they're professional and qualified, then they have to take that on board, right? Um, but
Yeah,
yes,
understood.
I think there are definitely some people on the show who could definitely deal with who could definitely need some type of intervention of some kind. I don't know what, and I don't know what they have or potentially might or might not have.
Yeah, she's gonna be there to counsel them, though. I think that's. I think I was just trying
Yeah,
to point
but
out that she does
this,
specialize in that, but in this particular
yeah,
avenue, she's gonna do the counseling for
but
couples.
Aubrey, why? Some of these couples are beyond saving. I've been asking you all show. Is Chris and Jody, can they turn it? Sorry, Chris and Sandia, can they turn it around? If Chris all of a sudden turns around and starts being a lover boy to Sandia, like, are you going to believe him? Or are you going to believe that or think he has an ulterior motive? And the same with Jody and Aaron. Like, if somehow they turn it around, you'd think that there's something, why weren't you doing this before? Like, where is it taking the intervention to make you switch gears? Where's this instant attraction coming from? It wasn't there the whole time. So you're not going to believe it. It's not going to be credible. What, just because
Well,
they sat down with a therapist for a quick 5 minute conversation? It's not going to change the attraction levels.
okay, to
It's not
the
going to
point
change
of
it.
Chris, I can hear my reverb over on your side, Jr. I don't know what you did different. Took your headset out or whatever, but yeah, you're right, but I mean, they got to give it a try. It's a TV show, right? And we gotta. They owe it to us. They owe it to us, the viewers. They've got to give it a interventional try. And then, like I said, I guess the thing is that'll be curious, that I'm curious to see, is what this show's guidelines are, because I do think that getting back to Sienna and Brandon, I think that if Brandon is saying that he don't want to try in a romantic sense, I think that they should, maybe after this 1 week, which was this week right here, next week, if things haven't changed, which I don't think they have, we just haven't seen them arguing, right? Because we were focused on other people's trauma and drama. I think those two should be gone, and you're right. Probably Chris and Sandia need to go, and what's this other one? Jody and the other Aaron, they need to go.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because, like, there has to be a process of elimination somehow, right? Because some of these couples aren't connected. So staying on the show without a connection, you're not moving towards building on what you built online, turning it into a physical thing or relationship aspect. What are you on the show for then?
Mm. Yeah, indeed, indeed. And we also see, oh, and in next week's episode, we are also going to get this. Next week will be Aaron H and Diamond's time to bring their family member. And it looks like Diamond's sister or family member, whoever that lady is, looks like
Mm-hmm.
she's not too particular about Aaron H.
Not at all. That looks like that turns into a very volatile situation.
Yeah, he's telling her to get the F out, and oh my gosh, like
Mm-hmm.
what?
And if that's a family member, imagine someone disrespecting your family member like that, who you've just met.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. Like, yeah, that's not cool. Like, I mean, if she's saying bad things about him and doesn't like him, he just needs to kind of respect that and walk away, in my opinion. Just like if it was reversed, if his people came in and they didn't like Diamond needed to just, say, okay, all right, and then just walk away. Like, I don't have to be in your presence. You're not going to be putting me down to my face. I can walk away. Like, I never understand why people can't use their legs. They're able body. Like, use your legs, right? But I'm not going to be
Hmm.
cursing your mama and your sister and your brother out, because here's the thing, there's hopefully there's always tomorrow, and tomorrow they might really begin to respect and appreciate that you love me and that I'm a good person. And if you love me and you think enough of me to marry me or make me your long-term partner, they begin to see the goodness, and just being around me, they begin to see the goodness and the value that I have, right? But
Right, and
I'm
that's
not gonna fight for them like that, like by cursing them out. That's not gonna win nobody over.
exactly, and that's what I said earlier about, when El Cid asked about, when is the right time to bring someone around your family and things like that. Why wait so long? It's because of situations like what was on the preview. You might bring your person to meet your family member, and they instantly have either heard something you said about them, like, or they just don't like the answers to the questions that they were asking, and this person doesn't know you well enough, so they're going to go out there and disrespect your family with their answer because they feel like they're not liked. Um, so that's tough. That looks like that's going to be a crazy situation. Because
Oh, okay.
all along we've seen a common theme of Aaron being quite like trying to act like the elder statesman of the group and try and somewhat be straight up, but also deliver it in a way which is respectful. So for him to snap like that, he man, that's in my opinion, he jeopardized his connection by flipping like that. No matter what he
Yeah,
heard, if he lost his cool
yeah.
like that with a family member, that's hard. That's hard to come back from.
Mm. Oh, now LMV says that maybe Diamond shouldn't have brought her sister because she knew her sister didn't like her man. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. She should have brought somebody else, another sister. Maybe that's her only. Maybe she only has one sibling. I don't know. All of
and
these
that's
things and
that. All
more.
that's doing is
Go ahead.
kicking the can down the road because eventually he's gonna meet the sister. Like it's a part of her
Exactly.
family. So that's just kicking it into the long run. You might as well get it over and
Yeah.
done with at some point. But hopefully she was thinking, okay, let me see if he can win her over because she may sense that they may be disliked there already, but maybe it won't go as bad as it did. Unfortunately, it looks like it did go bad.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm not
It
sure how he
really
comes
does.
back. I'm sorry. I'm not sure how he comes back because I value family. And if this, I'm just trying to picture if my siblings brought home their partner and their partner cussed out one of my family members or anything like that, or if my partner cussed out a family member, it's a big sign of disrespect. Because you're supposed to
Yeah.
respect the family.
Not only your family member, but to the partner himself, right? To the partner himself or
Yeah.
herself. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
All right. Well, you know what? With your old stingy self, your old stingy butt. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy Mother's Day to
Thank
all the
you very
mothers
much.
out there. And we're gonna shake and shimmy on out because it's time now. Okay. I hope you enjoyed it.
Mhm.
Check us out on the replay if you missed it from being on 6 o'clock or 6:30. We'll be back at our regular time next week. But this week we had to go early, guys. So we're out of here. You want to say goodbye, Jr.?
Take care, people. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Have a great week and see you.
See you guys next week. We're out.